One, let's visit the Awakening Plaza, which is buzzing with chaotic energy as desperate crowds crowd around the ancient Awakening Stanley, hoping a simple touch can awaken their class and set them on a path toward glory or absolute ruin. Weak-looking background characters line up, eager to discover their fate, but most of them are complete trash. And Dominic Anderson knows it. He awakened as a greatsword warrior, believing he is vastly superior to all the low-tier trash in this place. Nobody here can compete with his massive ego, and his loud followers are completely insufferable, constantly hyping him up for unlocking a combat class. But as he stands there gloating, a random guy bumps right into him without even offering a simple apology. Naturally, his trashy friends get completely furious at the sheer audacity of this random boy who looks incredibly plain. But with one close look, Dominic recognizes exactly who he is dealing with. This average-looking boy is actually Kale Powell from a once prestigious and powerful family. They used to be legendary figures, but then they were completely wiped out, leaving Kale as the lone survivor of his fallen clan. Dominic decides to hold back from picking a fight for now, but we all know this worthless kid is just wasting his time trying to awaken a class. Surely, the pathetic orphan won't somehow emerge as an underdog and get a class that puts him to shame. Despite the constant insults from the bully, Kale confidently steps forward and touches the awakening stone. The moment his palm meets the ancient monument, a blinding golden light envelops the plaza, shooting straight toward the heavens with incredible force. This shocking, brilliant display leaves everyone completely blinded. Dominic panic sweats, worrying the boy has triggered a rare special class rarely seen in this world. If that happens, he will look like an absolute clown for the rest of his life. Soon, the light slowly fades, revealing Kale's class written on the stone. He is a Beast Tamer. Instantly, the crowd of spectators begins to laugh and mock him for landing one of the worst classes. Being a tamer basically means you are doomed unless you are filthy rich. Dominic instantly calms down, realizing his status as the strongest rookie is perfectly safe. But as Kale turns around to leave the plaza, he has to face Dominic, opening his loud mouth to throw insults. The bully is completely convinced that a broke orphan can never survive as a beast tamer, since the class demands massive amounts of gold. He even has the nerve to offer Kale a weak stray dog as his first beast, provided he crawls on the ground like a slave. Fortunately, Kale does not take the bait, coolly pointing out that Dominic's entire personality is just his class. Hearing this, the bully starts losing his mind. Enraged, he charges forward to punch the boy, but this turns out to be a massive mistake. Out of nowhere, a powerful woman appears and kicks the living daylights out of Dominic before he can land a single finger on Kale. As we will see, this kid is being guarded by Samantha Russo, a gorgeous teacher who has his back. Her favorite student, Samantha, orders Dominic to back off, and the loudmouth bully quickly scurries away like a bug. As soon as he leaves, Samantha congratulates Kale on awakening his class, but she is also seriously annoyed that he had the nerve to sneak out for the ceremony without saying a word. He literally fights for his life as Samantha suffocates him in her massive chest and demands an apology for his recklessness. Then, Samantha pulls out her credit card and tells him to go wild spending. To be fair, he really is going to need tons of cash to become a decent beast tamer, and Samantha is happy to play the role of his sugar mommy. Naturally, he instantly becomes a loyal puppy and thanks her for the support. He even jokingly offers his own body as payment. But she quickly reminds him of his place as her humble slave. With his class finally unlocked, Kale heads straight back to his gloomy apartment, where he immediately starts exploring his god-tier beast taming ability. This guy has been waiting for this exact moment for ages, especially ever since he transmigrated into this new host. The sole survivor of the Powell family actually died from pure grief, but Kyle woke up in his place. For 3 years, he patiently waited to take part in this class awakening, so that he could finally activate his secret cheat system. Dawn Manor, now rebranded as the Beast Taming System, is fully prepared to turn him into an overpowered protagonist. Suddenly, his status screen pops up, urging him to spend money to gain absolute power and unlock ridiculous cheat codes. With Samantha's credit card ready, Kale basically goes wild with the spending just to get his hands on those incredible cheat codes. He wants to see what this system can actually do. As soon as the transaction goes through, he is warped to a bizarre dimension resembling the core of a massive galaxy. The system alerts him that his awesome cheat has officially unlocked, allowing him to pick his very first ultra-rare monster. Since his Tamer class is still only level 1, he gets just one choice, so making the right call here is crucial, especially because he definitely doesn't want to end up with a weak partner. He quickly looks over at the available beasts and selects one that fits his current budget. He is secretly hoping for an incredibly strong companion that can help him level up and grow stronger much faster. The second Kale locks in his choice, the system glows intensely, and a strange creature emerges. The system notifications inform him that he just summoned one of the 10 legendary ancient fiends, the Skyhorn Ant. But what should be a massive, terrifying monster is actually just a tiny insect with zero presence. He instantly starts losing his mind because he spent a massive fortune on this stupid little bug. He genuinely feels totally scammed by his own cheat system. To make matters even worse, the ant forcefully initiates a soul contract without his permission. Everything is happening way too quickly. He desperately tries to stop the link, but it is already too late. The contract sparks an immediate evolution, and he prepares for the absolute worst, only to hit the jackpot. The tiny, goofy insect transforms into a gorgeous girl with an incredibly stunning figure. Her snowy hair and intense red eyes make her look 10 times more fierce and powerful than that pathetic little bug. This is her genuine form, and she is officially his first beast companion. He gets insanely excited realizing he gets to train this gorgeous, high-tier partner as a newly awakened Beast Tamer. Kale heads out the next day with his pet ant. They make their way to the training grounds for his first official leveling session. This beginner trial is normally run by Samantha, but today things are different. Instead, a strict instructor named Mark Rivers has taken charge of the class. The students must enter a portal for a trial calibrated to their power. But Kale is not worried at all, knowing his tiny ant has a secret. She can transform into a muscle mommy with unbelievable combat stats, but suddenly, his best friend, Avery Peterson, interrupts to offer help with catching some beasts. Unfortunately, the resident bully Dominic is also in their group, looking for trouble. He immediately starts mocking Kale for relying on others instead of catching his own. He laughs at him for asking a nerdy friend for help. Then, Dominic offers to hand over a monster if Kale barks like a dog, but the only barking is coming from Dominic himself, so Kale tells the arrogant loser to shut up. His annoying voice is giving everyone a headache. Naturally, Dominic flies into a rage and tries to throw a punch, but this time Kale stands his ground, radiating confidence, and catches the fist with his bare hand. He does not even flinch, leaving Dominic to wonder if Samantha secretly boosted the boy's strength recently. Before a full fight breaks out, Mark calls Kale up to step forward. It is time for him to enter the portal. Dominic watches closely, a smug grin plastered on his face because he secretly bribed the instructor. Mark desperately wants to marry Samantha, who is totally out of his league. So he conspired with Dominic to get the young student out of the picture. If they eliminate Kale, Samantha will stop focusing all her attention on the boy. Kale has absolutely no idea, but the portal he is about to enter leads straight to a deadly dungeon far above his current combat level. Both conspirators are hoping the young man meets a tragic end inside. But the moment Kale steps inside, a large signboard catches his eye, warning him that he has stumbled into a dangerous silver leveling zone. The recommended level here is far higher than his current stats. Worse, this region is crawling with vicious gale wolves that tear intruders to shreds. Kale panics for a brief second as the wild predators completely surround him. Then he remembers the powerful beast at his side and summons his Skyhorn companion. The tiny insect sitting on his shoulder immediately transforms into a stunning white-haired beauty, fully prepared to defend her master to the death. Now Kale can simply sit back and enjoy the show as his gorgeous summon fights. This is his first real taste of the immense power a Beast Tamer holds. The formidable Skyhorn fiend immediately unleashes her overwhelming physical strength, obliterating the threatening gale wolves with a single, massive blow of her fist. A battle that would normally take hours is over in just a few seconds. Thanks to his gorgeous new companion, Kale decides to name her Millie. Since she is clearly more of a mature woman than a simple bug, he is incredibly satisfied with her combat power and wants her to grow stronger. Defeating the pack instantly boosts his status up to level 6. His growth speed is insane. He hopes his own raw stats will eventually reach a high enough level to rival Millie's terrifying combat abilities. Millie looks lost. Kalo promises her he will never actually reach the level of an ancient fiend. Truth is, he does not even see her as some legendary beast. To Kalo, Millie is just a clueless girl who needs to learn everything. Still, she is incredibly dangerous for someone so clueless. Suddenly, Millie grabs Kalo's hands and presses them against her chest, pulling him close. The move almost makes Kale pass out from shock. Meanwhile, 3 sneaky attackers are watching them. They watch the whole display, feeling pretty jealous of the lucky guy. These hitmen were hired by Mark to take out Kale, but they never expected him to be traveling with such a powerful girl. The thugs decide they want to have some fun with Millie too. First, they will kill Kale, then deal with the beast girl, but their perfect plan goes sideways fast when Millie silently sneaks up right behind them and totally snaps without wasting a single moment. The angry girl teaches these thugs a brutal lesson. Her raw power is so terrifying that Kale begs her to stop before she actually beats them to death. But then, things get worse. Dangerous, a level 22 Gale Wolf King leaps out, instantly crushing one of the thugs beneath a massive, heavy paw. Kale immediately realizes they are in trouble because Millie is not strong enough to defeat this oversized monster. Yet, the stubborn ant girl refuses to back down without a fight. As she charges forward to fight, however, the wolf instantly overpowers her. Tossing her high into the air, she slams back onto the ground. Only for the giant beast to pin her down. The wolf uses its sharp claws to slash Millie, but she somehow manages to survive the assault. Hope is fading fast, and Kyle sees that the gap in strength is just too massive to overcome. Luckily, a pack of smaller Gale wolves lunges at Kyle, but he spots the threat just in time. Instead of panicking, Kyle snaps and begins slaughtering the beast so he can harvest quick experience points and level up before it is too late. Driven by a brutal survival instinct, Kyle fights the wolves with pure bloodlust. Kale must eliminate 10 wolves in total to satisfy the terms of this battle. Quest, with every kill, the system flashes a notification showing his progress. The tally climbs higher, and Kale grows more savage with every passing second. He clutches a wolf by its jaws and tears it in half with sheer strength. Finally, Kale slays 10 beasts, satisfying the quest parameters and unlocking a crazy new skill. Having finished the battle quest, he gets 100 beast points. He immediately commands Millie to trigger a new technique called Berserker Strike. He actually spent those 100 points to unlock this skill for his Skyhorn Ant the moment she hears the order. To activate her berserk state, she flies into a rage, her eyes glowing a deep crimson, instead of simply enduring the massive Wolf King's heavy blows. Millie shrinks down into her tiny ant form. The massive predator struggles to spot her, gazing around in sheer confusion. The clever ant girl immediately exploits this opening to hit the monster from right underneath him. She shifts back into her giant form, shredding the beast before he can even comprehend what happened. The Wolf King is utterly annihilated. Kale is left completely stunned. With just one punch, that Skyhorn Ant took down a level 22 monster. This should be impossible, but Millie is just that incredibly powerful now. Her berserker mode finally ends, and she reverts to her usual childish self. She clingily grabs onto Kale, shoving her chest right into his face. Kale never realized how well endowed she was, leaving him totally flustered by the embrace. But as soon as Millie's intense excitement wears off, she suddenly collapses into a deep sleep from absolute exhaustion. Kale makes sure she gets some proper rest while he reviews the latest notifications from his system. Defeating the Wolf King yielded some seriously valuable loot. First, he receives the Wolf Fang Greatsword, which requires level 22 in order to be used, and he also gains the Ice Staff, a less powerful polearm that requires level 10 for him to equip. With these incredible weapons resting in his inventory, Kale hopes to sell off the gear for a decent profit. He wants to keep hunting inside the silver zone to raise his rank, but then he reviews his stats and realizes slaying the Wolf King pushed him to level 10 in just a few quick minutes. Now he must undergo a class advancement trial to continue growing. He originally figured he would be out hunting more wolves, but since his level has hit its current cap, he decides to interrogate the 2 surviving attackers. Meanwhile, just outside the dungeon portal, Mark eagerly waits to hear the glorious news of Kale's demise, but then the girl of his Dreams Samantha appears and she is absolutely furious. She instantly demands an explanation for why he let Kale enter a dangerous silver-level zone. Mark tries to play it cool, hoping she will settle down, but instead she draws a blade and threatens him directly, yet the guy still has the nerve to act totally clueless. He has no idea why she is so worked up over this, but Samantha refuses to let someone like him bully Kale just because the kid is an orphan with nobody backing him. Even though she sees right through his act, Mark continues to drag out the moment by spinning more lies. He claims that he actually sent 3 guides along with Kale to rescue him if things got dangerous. She is not buying his story, but she finally lowers her weapon, praying that Kale remains completely unharmed for Mark's sake, or she might just lose her mind, while Mark continues to pretend that this is nothing but a massive misunderstanding. Deep down, he is secretly hoping she finds Kale's cold, lifeless body. Once that happens, he plans to make his move on her. Finally, after waiting for what feels like forever, the students who entered finally begin to trickle back out. First to emerge is a haughty young lady named Sherry Lane, who is considered a true prodigy at Twilight Academy. Unfortunately, Dominic steps out next and immediately tries flirting with Sherry, only to get instantly shut down. Truth is, she only has eyes for the true heir of the Powell clan, but lately his personality has shifted completely, and there is absolutely no way she would ever lower her standards to date. A guy like Dominic, surprisingly, Avery is the 3rd student to exit the portal. Despite Avery surviving, Dominic still tries to look down on him, claiming he just got lucky and won't survive the next round. They claim his loser friend Kale is likely long dead by now. Hearing him get insulted sends Avery into a pure rage, nearly throwing hands right then and there with Dominic. Luckily, Mark breaks it up, telling Avery to stop blocking the entrance of the portal path. Avery backs down, and the group of students is forced to wait around for another hour. Meanwhile, Dominic keeps talking trash about his rival. While his lackeys massage his shoulders, they keep on teasing and mocking Avery, insisting that his friend is dead and will never walk out alive. Before he can even speak, a rock flies through the air and lands right near one of the bullies. Suddenly, Kale steps out of the portal looking completely confident. He casually apologizes to the crowd, explaining that he lost track of time while having way too much fun hunting monsters. Samantha lets out a massive sigh of relief, seeing him standing there alive and well. Meanwhile, Mark is absolutely seething on the inside. He never expected the kid to survive the deadly trap he had carefully laid out. Naturally, Dominic is the very first one to open his mouth and start talking trash. Without any proof, he accuses him of cowering in some corner and relying on pure luck to survive without a single scratch. Avery can't stand these baseless lies and steps forward to do something about it, but his friend quickly holds him back. He stops him from making a rash decision. After all, he knows exactly what happened inside that dungeon, so the bully's petty words don't bother him at all. Instead, he mockingly calls Dominic too weak to even serve as food for his beasts. This insult makes him completely lose his mind, and he immediately challenges him to a bet. The two agree to show their status screens. The arrogant bully promises to hand over a massive pile of cash if his level is indeed higher, but if he is just a low-level weakling, he must drop down to his knees and beg like a dog. He accepts the challenge without hesitating, even as Avery frantically tries to warn him that the teacher is watching them closely. Meanwhile, Mark has been praying for his ultimate downfall, so he doesn't step in. He simply hopes the kid ends up making an absolute fool of himself. Still, Samantha knows better. She is certain he has a secret trick ready. With the bet locked in, Avery decides to join the fun. He reveals his own status window first, showcasing a highly embarrassing level 3. Dominic wastes no time mocking his weak stats, especially since his own level has also reached level 3. His squad starts hyping him up for reaching such a solid milestone so quickly. Now Avery begins to panic, realizing he severely underestimated his rival. The arrogant bully demands both of them down on their knees right now, absolutely certain that there is no way their ranks could possibly beat his own. Avery fumes, but his companion tells him to stay cool. The bully just made a massive mistake. Because to an elite, level 3 is absolutely nothing. He casually steps forward to showcase his rank, revealing a shocking level 10 screen. Seeing this makes everyone in the crowd lose their minds. He was supposed to be the weakling with 0 status or power, yet he just completely bypassed them all. Dominic is stunned that a useless Beast Tamer managed to reach level 10 so fast. He instantly screams cheat because his tiny brain simply cannot. Except that his rival is vastly superior. With the bet officially over, he warns Mark to keep his lapdog on a tight leash from now on as well. He actually crossed paths with his so-called assistants and had a great time grinding. Leveling up alongside them, the smug smirk on the brat's face infuriates Mark, but he tries his absolute best to hide it. He realizes Kale knows who sent those thugs after him. If the young Beast Tamer talks, the instructor loses everything, including his career and his entire life's work. The unhinged teacher decides to take care of the boy immediately before his dirty little secret comes out. As Kale and Avery walk over to talk to Samantha, Sherry watches them like a hawk. Since her level is stuck at 5, she struggles to accept the fact that he completely bypassed her. Still, as a proud prodigy, she expects to catch up to her old crush in a flash. Meanwhile, Kale mentions that he is shocked to see Samantha here, given she supposedly had urgent business during the trial. This friendly call-out leaves the gorgeous instructor a bit flustered, but her eyes go wide with shock as Mark lunges toward Kale with absolute murderous intent. Samantha quickly pushes Kale out of the way, taking the brunt of Mark's heavy fist. By now, the instructor has completely snapped, and he viciously shoves Samantha. She stumbles back, barely catching her balance in time. Samantha retaliates with a high kick, but the odds are stacked against her. Mark snatches her ankles, swinging her like a ragdoll. Any past affection he had is dead. But he still wants to humiliate and overpower the stunning woman. Before the madman can touch her, however, Kale plants a heavy kick right on his face. He then threatens to unleash his Beast Tamer skills on the corrupted instructor. If he refuses to talk, Mark just twists the story even more, boldly accusing the boy of murdering the 3 assistants assigned to his trial. The villain tries to persuade the crowd that Kale grew so strong by slaughtering those innocent helpers to gain experience. Dominic and his friends are loving the drama, while the man vows to execute Kale for the slaughter. But the boy turns the tables completely, pulling out the corpse of one of his attackers. The teacher foolishly believes every single assassin is dead, thinking he can easily lie his way out of this, but he has no clue that the clever teenager is already 5 moves ahead, with the dead assassin lying right in front of him. The desperate man tries to frame Kale for murder, but the student smoothly claims he merely stumbled upon the body inside the dungeon and decided to do a good deed by retrieving it, unlike his instructor, who intentionally sent 3 men to their deaths just to cover his tracks. He even shakes the corpse playfully, mockingly pitying the dead pawn who got exploited. He tells the dead man to go ahead and haunt his former boss, since he was the mastermind behind the whole plot. This brutal public mockery completely triggers the man's rage. He snaps and charges forward, trying desperately to land just a single blow on the kid, but the boy moves like lightning, making the teacher look like an absolute fool punching empty air. Dominic and his thugs cheer him on to crush the boy, but you and I know who is actually dominating this one-sided clash. The youth unleashes his mana, summoning a powerful frost staff to freeze his opponent. With one leg completely encased in solid ice, the instructor is entirely pinned. The boy delivers a swift, humiliating kick, sending the man flying straight into a nearby cliff. The protagonist is glad that he managed to level up just in time. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to stand up to Mark, but compared to Millie, Kale is still weak, and he knows the Skyhorn Beast Girl won't show Mark any mercy at all. Kale summons Millie to teach Mark a final lesson. The tiny ant shifts back into her powerful human form, using a single massive strike to send Mark crashing straight into a stone wall. Avery spots Millie and is thrilled to find out Kale has been keeping such a gorgeous girl secret, but Samantha immediately starts feeling a little jealous of this mysterious woman. The Beast Girl wants to keep rampaging, but Kale tells her to calm down. As soon as she shrinks back to normal, she clings tightly to Kale, again desperately begging him to shower her with a little praise. Kale appreciates Millie's hard work, telling her to change back into an ant before anyone else sees her true form and discovers the ancient fiends. Even though Millie smashed Mark into solid stone, he is somehow still breathing and trying to blame Kale for murdering innocent people. Mark completely loses his mind and goes berserk, ripping off his shirt to unleash the full extent Of his strength, trembling with rage, Mark prepares to pounce on Kale, but an elegant foot steps right on his shoulder, pinning him down instantly, though. Mark freezes in sheer terror as a distinguished gentleman with white hair and a crisp suit appears, radiating absolute dominance right on top of the instructor. This senior is Archer Donovan, the principal of Twilight High School. He demands an immediate explanation for why Mark is attacking one of his students. The corrupt instructor tries to spin his lies, blaming Kale for killing the training assistants. However, Donovan wants to hear Kale's side of the story. 2. Instead of losing his cool and screaming like Mark, Kale calmly asks Donovan to examine the dead body of one of the fake assistants to find the real cause of death. Dominic then uses a strange power to envelop the body. Inside a glowing circle, the magic reveals that the victim was actually crushed by some massive beast, meaning there is no way Kale could be the killer. Despite the clear evidence, Mark continues to be an absolute fool, accusing Kale of somehow baiting the innocent assistant right into the monster. Kale is stunned that Mark is still trying to deflect the blame. Even with the truth right in front of them, Samantha speaks up, voicing her doubts that Mark actually sent assistants to help Kale. At this point, the instructor is totally cornered and should have surrendered, but he is determined to convince the principal that Kale is framing him. Plus, there are still 2 of his hired assassins missing, and he is sure they are dead too, and can never speak against him. However, Kale pulls a massive Uno reverse card, summoning the 2 missing assassins, along with the sliced-up carcass of the Wolf King. Now Mark is trapped like prey, completely unable to make up any more excuses. Kale reveals the entire truth, explaining how he caught those thugs spying on him before they all ran into the Wolf King. The monster actually slaughtered one of the men, forcing Kale to step in and slay the beast. Even the captured thugs do not even try to cover for Mark. They immediately confess to their crimes, admitting that Mark paid them to assassinate Kale inside the portal. Now you see, Kale had actually ordered Millie to command her ants to relentlessly bite the attackers until they confessed. His brutal tactics worked, and now Mark can no longer dodge accountability. With his schemes fully exposed, Mark tries to flee like a fool, but is quickly pinned down by Donovan's powerful lightning shackle. Dominic makes sure to let Mark understand that he will face severe punishment for plotting such a wild scheme just to eliminate a single student. With the matter finally settled, Samantha boldly grabs Kale by the hand and decides it is finally time to leave this area. However, Sherry blocks their path, demanding to know if Kale truly defeated the Gale Wolf King. She highly doubts that he single-handedly took down the Gale Wolf King. As a Beast Tamer herself, she suspects that Kale was secretly aided by some high-level creature. Right now, Kale is growing incredibly nervous since he wants to keep Millie hidden for now. But Sherry has already connected the dots. She instantly demands a friendly match with Kale to witness his true skills as a tamer. At this moment, Sherry is cornering him, leaving absolutely no escape from this tense situation. Before Kale can be cornered further by this prodigy from Twilight High School, Samantha steps in, pushing her aside and telling her to mind her own business instead of provoking Kale and starting more drama. Believe it or not, Kale has no clue these beauties are fighting over him. He tries to step in and ease the heavy tension, but only receives icy glares from both Samantha and Sherry. Samantha then begins to wonder when Kale became such a magnet for gorgeous women. First that ant girl, and now it seems her quiet student is becoming a total player. Samantha definitely hates this, so she walks away alone, knowing that dating her own student is completely out of the question. Meanwhile, Kale quickly cooks up an excuse to shake off Sherry, promising a duel another day because he is utterly exhausted. But instead of going home, Kale heads to the Shadow Mountain Exchange to sell off his fresh loot for a premium price. He instantly realizes this place is high class when a gorgeous assistant offers him some expensive drinks. Soon enough, the manager, Louis Lin, arrives, and Kale presents the weapons that dropped from the slain Gale Wolf King. Rather than checking the gear, Lin stares closely at Kale with a warm look of recognition. He recognizes Kale's surname, revealing that he was once close friends with his father. Kale secretly hopes this sudden connection will give him the upper hand, while Lin quietly plans to hustle the young rookie into accepting a much lower offer. Both sides are eager to outsmart each other in this deal. Lin kicks things off by offering 5 million dragon coins for both weapons, but Kale knows these rare drops came from a silver-level monster and are easily worth 8 million instead. The two plunge into intense negotiations, with Lin slowly raising his price while Kale gradually drops his. Eventually, they agree on a fair middle ground, satisfying both players. Kale walks away with an impressive 6 million dragon coins. This fortune should keep him living comfortably in his tiny apartment for a while. After officially accepting the deal, Lin hands Kale 2 credit cards, with one being a premium black card to celebrate their newly established partnership. Both are looking forward to future business deals before Kale heads back to his apartment. The very next day, however, he is shocked to see the Russo family head butler waiting outside. Standing right in front of his building, a massive black luxury car sits behind him. His name is Kyle and he serves Samantha's family. Right away, Kale can't stand the guy because this old man is incredibly rude and deeply creepy. Kyle condescendingly explains that Samantha risked her life going to a diamond-level danger zone just to secure a rare void beast for Kale to tame. She went behind her family's back, and now her father has grounded her. That very beast is sitting inside the massive luxury car, and Kale is eager to see it. But the butler quickly adds a harsh condition from Samantha's powerful father. He wants Kale to stay far away and stop bothering Samantha for good. Once he takes the beast, they want all contact to end permanently. They want nothing to do with the disgraced, lone survivor of the Powell family. This disrespectful demand makes Kale freeze. He immediately confronts the butler's terrible attitude. Kale never asked their family for a single thing, and while he deeply appreciates Samantha risking everything to get him this beast, he completely refuses to accept their pity. This makes Kyle absolutely furious. How dare some nobody insult his masters? Kyle lunges forward to strike the team in a surprise attack, but he gets utterly destroyed instead, without even lifting a finger. Kale unleashes a crushing aura that makes the butler feel like a tiny bug trapped in the jaws of a deadly predator. Kyle backs away, trembling under the weight of Kale's terrifying stare. He never expected this boy to possess enough raw power to terrify him like this. Now, the proud butler looks pathetic as he cowers before a mere high schooler. Suddenly, Kale throws his brand new credit card directly at the old man. The balance inside is more than enough to fully settle what he owes Samantha for her past help. Now that they are completely even, Kale wants zero association with her family. He warns Kyle never to lay a finger on him again, or else. Back inside his quiet apartment, Kale collapses onto his bed, totally drained and genuinely hurt. Severing ties with his only real friend leaves him feeling empty, but luckily he has another loyal, white-haired companion near. Millie soon transforms into her beautiful human form and holds him close as he prepares for his crucial class advancement quest. The next morning, Kale heads to the Grand Temple, where the entire crowd is gossiping about his incredible tamer skills. Rumors have spread like wildfire about a legendary new student from Twilight High. Despite all the massive hype and admiration, the young warrior just feels highly uncomfortable since he prefers to remain unnoticed. He quietly steps inside the main hall and rests his palm against the glowing class transfer crystal. Immediately, the ancient artifact blazes to life, declaring his test to be an ultra-rare 5-star challenge that demands he slay a legendary thunder beast. The entire sanctuary is alerted instantly, because triggering a 5-star trial is not only unheard of, but the sheer danger is on an entirely different level. Kale quietly curses his fate, realizing his luck is still absolutely terrible. The entire class change shrine erupts in chaos because someone unlocked a legendary 5-star quest. Luckily, Kale's identity remains hidden and he can quietly accept the mission without drawing any more unwanted attention. He immediately heads over to the shattered ruins where those deadly thunder beasts reside, but the ruins are also crawling with ruthless bandits looking for any foolish traveler to kill and rob. Unfortunately, a bald mercenary spots Kale and immediately realizes they have found easy prey. To them, he looks like a wealthy kid trying to finish a quest, so the thug tries to exploit him and offers to hire out his mercenary crew. Even though Kale is barely interested and hates dealing with loudmouth fighters, he still gets annoyed by the bald thug. The man even offers a 20% discount since he is a newcomer, but that cheap offer is a dead giveaway that they plan to kill and rob him, so Kale casually uses force to shove the giant man aside. He makes it clear he has no time for annoying Mercenaries today. As Kale walks away, the angry bandit threatens to murder him, but his curvy, red-headed boss orders him to stay calm. The mysterious woman wants to teach Kale a painful lesson for disrespecting them. Meanwhile, Kale continues his trek through the shattered ruins. He summons Millie, his loyal beast who is thrilled to help, checking his character stats. He spots a new system quest waiting for him, and to complete it, he must defeat the terrifying Thunder Apostle. Finishing this will reward him with 300 beast points, making Millie even stronger. For now, he focuses on his class progression quest because the Thunder Beasts are close by, and he has no clue where the Apostle is hiding. Right on cue, a pack of level 15 Thunder Wolves surrounds them. Little do they know, they are about to become easy fodder. Millie easily tears through the beasts, while Kale uses his new spell scrolls to unleash destructive flames. With a quick chant, he summons a massive fireball, instantly turning the beasts to ash. Terrified, some of the survivors try to flee as their pack mates drop like flies. Spams his spell scrolls, wiping the monsters out en masse and giving even Millie a run for her money. Once again, in just a few seconds, the duo clears the field, collecting the necessary energy crystals for his quest. But even with all these materials, a problem remains. Kale's experience level is still capped, making this massive slaughter feel like a complete waste of experience points. Still, he has other goals. That system mission is waiting, and he has just received the coordinates for the Apostle's location from Lin. Kale tells Millie to prepare as they head straight toward their target. Meanwhile, the red-headed mercenary boss and her lackeys are watching closely. Although the bald thug wants to strike immediately, his boss holds him back. She wants Kale to harvest more high-quality crystals first to maximize their ultimate loot. Besides, taking down a powerful summoned beast won't be easy, so she prefers to play it safe. Soon, the duo finally reaches the Thunder Apostle sleeps peacefully right in the middle of the shattered ruins, but Kale feels a bit let down since this massive beast is only level 17. Eager to move on, Kale tells Millie to just attack and get it over with. The poor Thunder Apostle wakes up only to see Millie charging directly toward him. She immediately smashes his jaw. The beast girl then transforms back into an ant. She dives deep into the dirt, tunneling below the surface before she strikes again. Bursting from underneath, she punches the monster and launches him into the air. While the beast is airborne, Kale activates a magic scroll to summon a sharp ice crystal. The crystal impales the Thunder Apostle, instantly killing him. Just like that, it is over. The quest is complete, earning Kale 300 beast points, which he immediately spends. He uses them to unlock another skill for Millie. This time, she gets a massive defense boost, which also makes Kale feel a wave of new strength. Overjoyed, Millie clings to his arm again, but their sweet celebration is suddenly interrupted. The mercenary boss lady shows up, bringing her entire gang along with her. Instead of being intimidated, Kale mocks the squad for their terrible timing. They arrived right after he finished off the Thunder Apostle. Talk about lazy timing. These guys claim to be powerful elites, but they only wait around for others to do the work. The boss lady warns Kale to watch his mouth, reminding him that danger is close. Out here, the security patrol will not protect him. They are way too deep in the ruins. No help is coming for him. She smugly offers to take good care of him instead. All he has to do is surrender, but before the mercenaries can even take a step, Millie catches them off guard and unleashes absolute, brutal chaos upon the group. The thugs instantly realize they are doomed when the girl treats them like ragdolls. She casually picks them up one by one, tossing them around like cheap toys. Refusing to retreat, a few desperate men open fire, hoping to take down the pair. But thanks to Millie's newly upgraded defense, the bullets do absolutely nothing to her. The lead bounces right off. The boss lady quickly realizes her massive mistake. She made a terrible mistake attacking him and tries to run away immediately. But before she can scurry away like a terrified little rat, Kale blocks her path, towering over her with a smug, satisfying grin on his face. She and her bald ally cling to each other in absolute terror. Kale is terrifying enough, but Millie is a literal monster in battle. Yet the bald idiot is still dumb enough to think he can take on Kale. He is dead wrong. Kale is loaded with high-tier magic scrolls. He could easily turn every single one of these thugs to ash. Instead, Kale demands she hand over all her energy stones and magic scrolls. If not, he will have to play the villain and wipe them out. The sheer terror on their faces proves they know they have no choice. They surrender instantly, and Kale heads straight to the profession shrine. Inside, the receptionist feels bad for him since he drew a 5-star quest. Such extreme quests typically require over 10 days of hard work to finish. They are nearly impossible alone, but imagine her absolute shock when Kale casually walks up and announces that he has already finished the task. He completed the legendary promotion quest in record time, leaving her completely stunned. She does a double take, unable to believe a solo rookie could do this. This random guy just finished a legendary quest in mere hours. Meanwhile, Kale tells the truth and gets led straight to the chamber where he can learn more about his class change. Meanwhile, rumors sweep across the entire shrine that someone cleared a 5-star quest in just a few hours. Now people are growing anxious about this insanely powerful stranger who seemed to appear from nowhere. Kale steps into the chamber and begins checking all his new stats. His basic Beast Tamer class has evolved into a Beast Scholar, granting him massive stat boosts. Kale also unlocks incredible new skills with this rare class advancement. For starters, he can now copy skills from his own beast girls. He can also manifest lightning wings to fly for 10 minutes and trigger an ancestral regression for his beasts. Along with these massive upgrades, Kale gets to select an extra skill, but before making that choice, he decides to take his lightning wings for a spin. Flight is usually locked behind rare skill books, so having this ability at just level 10 is absolutely insane. Kale can also duplicate Millie's combat abilities for his own use in battle. Honestly, these op skills are a dream come true for someone who barely had to break a sweat. He then reviews his bonus skill options, weighing 3 choices. One path lets him fuse directly with his beasts, while another unlocks telepathic communication with his tames. Ultimately, Kale selects Malice Wave, a utility option that will let him sense hostile entities lurking nearby. With his new toolkit finally sorted, exhaustion starts creeping in, but the system immediately pings him with a brand new quest. This time, his objective is to track down and tame a second pet. Since Millie excels at single-target duels, Kale wants a companion that can deal devastating area of effect damage. Playing it smart, he calls up Old Man Lin, hoping the merchant can source a powerful lightning-type monster to fit his build. Soon, Kale arrives at the merchant's shop, nearly giving the old man a heart attack by revealing the legendary loot stripped from those mercenaries. Naturally, Kale keeps quiet about his victims, spinning a tale about finding the treasure in some ancient ruins. Thanks to some generous travelers, picking his jaw up from the floor, Lin hurriedly orders his secretaries to calculate the staggering value of the treasure. The total comes out to a staggering 13 million dragon coins, which will be wired straight to his account immediately. But he isn't finished making deals just yet. He also tasks the merchant with finding a lightning-type beast. Fortunately, Lin just got wind of a rare thunderbird spotted roaming the Thunder Forest outside Greenville City. This creature is infamously difficult to capture and possesses a powerful, ancient bloodline. It is the perfect target for Kale, who eagerly demands more intel from the shopkeeper. Unfortunately, the merchant has very little detail on the bird itself, though he does possess a single thunderbird feather that can guide Kale directly to its nesting grounds. Supposedly, the feather will begin to glow when the beast is near. Kale would love to take the tracking item, but Lin reminds him that nothing in this world is free, pricing the feather at 1 million dragon coins. Even though those coins could have bought him powerful magic scrolls, he had to buy the feather. Finding a new beast was just too important. With his purchase ready, Kale heads straight into the terrifying Thunder Forest. It is another silver leveling zone, but Kale is focused on something else. The fact that Lin straight up scammed him. This feather will only glow when the Thunderbird is 10 meters away, which is totally useless. Kale slams the feather onto the ground but tries to keep his hopes up, with Millie by his side. Navigating the dense forest will be a breeze. Plus, once he tames another beast, he will dominate the gold leveling zones in no time. Unfortunately, Millie is feeling jealous about having to share Kale with another beast girl. She tries to remind him of her worth, only to be cut off by a distant cry for help. The screaming grows louder and a curvy pink-haired girl bursts out of the thick brush. She is running from a level 19 Thunder Leopard, and things look bad. The girl is named Vivian Sterling, and she is running for her life, desperately trying to outrun the beast. Luckily, before Vivian gets ripped apart, Kale copies Millie's berserker strike skill and steps in to handle the leopard, essentially unlocking another gorgeous girl for his growing harem. The Thunder Leopard is incredibly strong, and Vivian is shocked by how easily Kale brushed the beast aside. He casually tells Vivian not to worry because Millie is going to finish the job. This Thunder Beast stands absolutely no chance against her ferocious new powers. She can even transform into a massive, terrifying ant, piercing her enemies and tearing them into oblivion. To Vivian, this whole scene feels like a bizarre fever dream. But at least a handsome guy is here to rescue her, Kale offers to carry her, but she grabs his hand to flee the fighting beasts. Before they can run far, Millie blocks their path in her giant ant form. She was busy fighting, only to see her master running off with a curvy stranger. Kale quickly praises Millie to keep her calm. She shrinks back down to her cute form and rests on his shoulder. Vivian puts the pieces together, realizing he is the legendary Beast Tamer. That has been the talk of the town lately, yet she is shocked to see that Kale is incredibly strong himself. Normally, the summoned beasts do all the heavy lifting in combat, even though Vivian tries to act natural. Millie is still hostile and glares at her. Before another massive catfight breaks out over him, Kale asks Vivian why she decided to enter such an incredibly dangerous forest on her own. She explains she is working on her profession change quest, but ended up with a brutal 4-star quest, making things extremely difficult. Since she is a skilled tracking master, and Kale needs the Thunderbird, she offers to help him track down the beast. For once, Kale meets someone who is not trying to rob or murder him, so he accepts. However, to locate it, Vivian needs some kind of item connected to the target beast. Fortunately, the stars are perfectly aligned, since he has that exact feather, even if using it seems impossible. Destroying the fiend means the feather itself will be ruined in the process. He just wants to find his target and head home with another beautiful girl or two. So Vivian activates her tracking skill on the feather, enveloping it in glowing light. The item begins to shine brightly, casting a long, glowing trail into the air. Vivian explains that following this path will lead them straight to their target. They set off toward the legendary Thunderbird, beginning their journey into the wild. But a sudden obstacle blocks their path almost immediately. Up ahead, trouble waits. A pack of monsters blocks the road. Terrified, Vivian immediately clings to his arm. Seeing another girl press so close to him absolutely triggers Millie. She loses her mind with rage, without even activating her special skill. The moment he orders her to defeat the beasts, she unleashes absolute fury on them. It is as if she is taking out all her jealousy on the helpless beasts. Meanwhile, his level jumps from 10 to 11 as she wipes them all out. She is doing an amazing job, but he can clearly tell she is unusually angry. To make things worse, she aggressively shoves Vivian completely out of the way. The poor girl has no idea what just hit her, assuming a beast attacked. But then she looks over and sees the giant ant intimately cuddling up to him. Slowly, she begins to suspect that this creature is targeting her on purpose. It is hard to believe that such a tiny pet could be so vicious. In truth, Millie is absolutely furious that another woman is flirting with him. She wants to teach her a lesson, but he quickly steps in to mediate. He acts as a buffer between the two beauties, keeping them at a distance. He even stops Vivian from petting her, knowing that absolute chaos would erupt otherwise. To redirect her burning rage, he tells her to focus on the hunt. He commands her to clear out all the surrounding monsters as they advance deeper. Walking deeper into the woods, his system alerts keep chiming with level-ups. Thanks to his pet scouting and slaying enemies, his own strength is rising. He easily reaches level 15 in no time. She truly deserves a massive reward. Her hard work leaves the entire woodland trail completely covered in fallen enemies. Vivian is incredibly relieved they can travel safely without constantly having to fight. Before long, she detects the presence of the legendary beast close by. His loyal companion senses it too. Looking up into the canopy, he spots it. A massive bird is resting high in the branches, sitting at level 13. He assumes making a contract with this beast will be an absolute breeze for him. However, the moment they get close, the creature launches high into the air. Sensing danger, it bolts, leaving Vivian to curse their terrible luck. They have no way to fly, making a manual pursuit seem completely impossible. But he has unmatched protagonist luck, summoning powerful lightning wings to give chase now. He zips through the clouds, quickly closing the distance to confront his target. He stands face to face with the creature, keeping pace high above the ground. He begins to pester the creature, trying to convince it to submit. He promises that serving him under a contract will be a wonderful experience for it. The creature realizes he is completely unhinged and desperately tries to fly away. But he gets highly annoyed when the target stubbornly refuses to cooperate with him. So he decides it is time to use a little bit of force. The Thunderbird managed to escape Kale's grasp, then unleashed a flurry of lightning. Unfortunately, Kale was determined to get what he wanted. He used Millie's berserk strike to subdue the powerful Thunderbird. The majestic bird was then forced to comply as Kale initiated a contract with it. The contract proved successful, and now Kale had acquired his second beast. However, the bird was still a bit too low level for direct combat, so let's check out Thunderbird's stunning second form, the Thunder Empress. As expected, she shifts into a gorgeous lady with massive curves. Now at level 18, she boasts the Thunderstorm skill, capable of striking lightning within a set radius. But Kale is way more interested in noticing that this new Empress has assets that easily dwarf Millie's. Naturally, the Antral spots her master, ogling another woman, and instantly transforms herself in a flash, even though Millie and the Thunder Empress look ready to tear each other apart. Kale is too busy comparing their builds. Shaking it off, he finally tells Millie to play the mature big sister to their new beast girl companion. The Empress then demands that Kale give her a proper name too, so he decides on Phoenix. Though she appreciates the name, Kale still needs to witness her true combat power. To test her out, he heads into the forest. Meanwhile, Vivian is still waiting for his return to finally finish up her main class promotion quest. Eager to help, Kale decides to let his new Phoenix handle the target for her. To complete this quest, Vivian must defeat the chieftain of a local barbarian camp. Phoenix wastes no time and summons a devastating thunderstorm right over their heads. The barbarians look up as this gorgeous firebird mommy prepares to wipe them off the map. The lightning strikes are so blinding that Vivian completely loses sight of Phoenix. Kale needs to ensure Phoenix doesn't accidentally vaporize the boss herself, because otherwise Vivian will fail the promotion. He quickly orders Phoenix to sweep the small fry enemies and bag the leader alive. Smiling, Phoenix swoops down from the clouds and starts thrashing the barbarians left and right. For someone who looks so sweet and gentle, we quickly see she's a total barbarian. It doesn't take long for the barbarian chieftain to be dragged right before Vivian and Kale. Now, all Vivian has to do is execute the massive warrior with her own hands. Though she hesitates with the blade, she ultimately delivers a swift, decisive strike. With her quest finally finished, Vivian happily offers to show Kale around her hometown, but our protagonist has much more urgent business to attend to. He says goodbye, and they head their separate ways. Heading home, Kale realizes he must design a highly efficient training routine so his beast girls can level up together. Out of nowhere, he gets an unexpected call from Avery with some big news. She reveals that the military uses a special training ground called the Phantom Realm, allowing soldiers to sharpen their skills and learn how to slay high-tier awakened beasts. The space functions like a high-tech virtual reality, where users can adjust the difficulty level to their liking. Luckily, Avery has secured an exclusive high-level training slot just for him, but Kale is already scheming about how perfect this would be for Millie and Phoenix to train together, plus they can serve their master in plenty of other ways. Meanwhile, Kale he snaps out of his daydream and immediately accepts Avery's offer. Before entering the battle zone, Kale takes some time to rest at home. His apartment is usually pretty depressing, but with Millie shoving her curves in his face while Phoenix practically smothers him with her own impressive curves, Kale honestly feels like he is in heaven, but the moment is immediately ruined when the girls start fighting over who gets more of his attention. Tired of dealing with this headache all morning, Kale grabs his beast companions and heads straight to the Phantom Realm Center. His personal sleep pod is already booked and fully prepared. Plus, he can earn major military rewards if he manages to shatter the local record. Determined to seize this goldmine of an opportunity, Kale and his companions step inside together. He selects a silver leveling dungeon for his very first virtual battle. The system slowly loads, and Kale braces himself for another wild ride. The system teleports Kale and his beasts directly into a massive gladiator arena. where they must survive waves of gale wolves. Millie is desperate to prove her worth, leaping straight into action and easily shredding a pack of wolves in seconds. The ant girl proudly turns around and flips Phoenix off, but the proud bird is completely unfazed by the provocation and remains calm. She is just as, if not more powerful. With a wave, she summons devastating lightning to instantly obliterate another wave of wolves without moving an inch. Kale was honestly hoping this virtual training session would help them bond, but they are only focused on competing against each other. Soon, their endless bickering starts to become a massive distraction, and Kale completely loses focus. He almost gets blindsided by a wolf, only to slay the monster himself. This makes his beast companions suddenly realize they left their master totally unprotected and completely failed to guarantee his safety. This shared guilt instantly reunites Millie and Phoenix, and they quickly agree to combine their powers for the next round. However, this upcoming wave consists of level 20 monsters that can inflict real physical pain, but Kale never hesitates, because he wants to utilize this simulation to push his own combat limits and grow stronger. His companions instantly turn into total fangirls, praising Kale for soloing a massive horde of monsters. Soon, the final battle begins, and Kale commands his beasts to unleash their ultimate skills. They are determined not to fail their master again and charge into the fray with absolute fury. The helpless monsters stand zero chance against the overwhelming power of Kale's summoned beasts. Meanwhile, back in the lobby outside of the virtual testing center, a familiar bully named Dominic is busy harassing another defenseless girl. He is utterly relentless, aggressively hitting on women who have absolutely zero interest in him. This time, Dominic and his brainless lackeys are cornering a female hunter who has already made it very clear that she works alone. Fortunately, the awkward encounter is cut short when onlookers in the lobby notice that mysterious challenger is currently smashing the record for the silver dungeon. Dominic spots his victim's name on the screen, but refuses to believe it's actually the guy he loves to torment. Everyone watches in absolute shock as Kale officially sets a record time of 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Back inside the virtual world, an exhausted Kale feels highly satisfied with his performance. Breaking the record grants him a rare skill book, which lets the user summon thorny vines across a wide area to lock down targets. With his loot secured, Kale is thrilled with how things are going. He decides to leave, but he has no clue that the lobby is packed with people hyping him up for crushing that record in record time. He's basically a brand new superstar, meaning sneaking out of the building completely unnoticed will be impossible. As predicted, the moment the crowd spots him, they absolutely lose it. Meanwhile, Dominic is practically having a meltdown because even the girl he was trying to charm has eyes only for Kale now. Dominic genuinely believed this would be his big moment, but Kale stole the show. Elsewhere, a high-ranking military general is keeping a close eye on Kale, convinced the kid is a total genius. He wants to recruit him immediately, ordering his subordinates to dig up a full background report. By the next morning, all of Twilight High School is whispering about Kale being an insanely broken Beast Tamer. Avery is playing the ultimate wingman, boasting about his talented best friend just to boost his own status. That's when Dominic bursts into the classroom, absolutely furious and ready to call Kale out. His wealthy family had paid to carry him through his class advancement quest, and he even set a brief record at the Phantom Realm Center. But Kale ruined his entire spotlight. Too bad for him, because everyone is starting to see that Dominic is just a massive fraud. Avery quickly rubs it in, calling him out for buying his path to success. Dominic is boiling with rage, demanding to know where Kale went. Avery smugly tells him that Kale is busy grinding levels in the Shadow Mountains right now, especially since he's nearing his third-class advancement. Dominic swears he will get his revenge on Kale after being completely embarrassed in front of the entire class. Out in the wild, Kale is leveling up at insane speeds with Millie and Phoenix. He quickly realizes that the silver leveling area just isn't tough enough for his powerful companion girls. It's time to enter the gold hunting grounds. Maybe some real danger will force Millie and Phoenix to tap into their hidden potential. This new gold zone is packed with venomous striped lizards, which actually look pretty harmless at first. Kale orders Millie to charge from the front, while Phoenix provides heavy air support. But their coordinated strike hits a major roadblock right away. The lizards spit a nasty green acid that coats Millie, severely slowing her down. This paralyzing poison is actively draining her health bar. Seeing this, Kale begins to worry, commanding Phoenix to launch a massive thunderstorm to wipe out the mobs. But the lightning bolts are completely random, and these quick pests are way too small. Even the legendary Thunderbird is struggling here, with no options. Remaining, Kale decides to rely on his skill book to crowd control these slippery monsters. Unlocking the book awards him the special poisonous thorn ability, which can easily summon vines to snare their targets. He instantly masters the skill, sprouting sharp briars across the entire battlefield. The monsters have absolutely nowhere to run as they get tangled in the mess. Now that they are completely pinned down and unable to scurry away, Phoenix can easily use her lightning to finish them off. The lizards are completely struggling to escape as the vines wrap around them. Every single kill gives Kale a massive experience boost, pushing him closer to level 20 during this battle. This commotion draws in 2 level 22 saber-toothed tigers, and he knows slaying these beasts is his ticket to the next stage. Once Millie and Phoenix shred the tigers, the young summoner and his girls hit level 20. Grinding mindless monsters is useless now because he has to finish another class promotion trial before he can level up again. Heading right back to the class shrine so quickly feels slightly bizarre. Touching the crystal once again, he silently begs the heavens that he avoids another brutal 5-star trial. Naturally, the monument blares a server-wide alert announcing that a 5-star challenge has been unlocked. The local players are already whispering that he is behind madness. Sure, high-tier quests give incredible rewards, but he just wanted an easy ride for once. Unfortunately, the system conditions are downright ridiculous. He is forced to purge every single specter on a phantom ship, and on top of that, hunt down some extremely rare materials. But instead of wasting daylight on a quick nap at home, he marches straight to the spooky pier where the vessel is scheduled to spawn. True, he is slightly creeped out hunting in the pitch black, but thankfully he has 2 beast girls backing him. In fact, his battle beauties are probably way more terrifying than any phantom. Right at 7 in the evening, the spectral galleon looms out of the fog at the harbor. He remembers the rumors Samantha shared about this vessel. Countless adventurers had attempted to clear the deck, only to flee in absolute terror of the undead. Suddenly, a shrieking spirit manifests right in front of him, giving the summoner a massive jump scare. He lunges to grab the phantom, but it easily drifts out of reach. Unleashing his lightning wings, he closes the distance to intercept the creature and cleanse it. Electric elemental attacks work wonders against the undead, so he commands Phoenix to blast and purify every single spirit on deck. However, things are feeling way too simple for a supposedly legendary 5-star mission. That is when the floating anomalies begin merging together into a terrifying level 25 ghost captain, combining their collective malice. With this formidable boss entering the arena, the battle takes a complicated turn. But he has complete faith that Millie and Phoenix will pull through. He designates Millie as the vanguard, while Phoenix rains down heavy magical support from the skies. As Millie closes the gap between herself and the spectral captain, Phoenix unleashes blinding thunderbolts. Together, they operate like a well-oiled machine. For the final blow, Millie activates her Berserk mode, and Phoenix invokes her ultimate thunderstorm to obliterate the phantom boss forever. With the combat phase cleared, he now must gather 3 incredibly rare materials to finish the job. The party heads out to the Crimson Flame Forest, looking for the legendary Eye of the Wind Flower. This flora is heavily guarded by a pack of aggressive wind lizards, stalling their approach to the prize. During their last mission, Phoenix took to the skies to snatch a rare green essence drop, but the canopy here is way too dense for aerial maneuvers. This leaves it up to Millie to save the day. She starts clawing into the dirt, letting her ant instincts lead the way to the flower, tunneling straight to the base of the massive tree where it grows. She begins her rapid climb. The prize is almost within Millie's reach when a sudden, violent gust of wind completely throws off her footing. She manages to snatch the flower, but is forced down to the forest floor, right where the hungry wind lizards are waiting for their first victim. Millie is trapped, and Kale knows she cannot take on these monsters alone. They are level 22 threats, so Kale orders Phoenix to dive in and swoop the ant girl to safety. She is not thrilled about being hauled away like a misbehaving kid by the Thunderbird, but there is no choice. Except to swallow her pride, with everyone safe for now, Kale yells at the girls to run since the angry predators are snapping at their heels. They must clear this area immediately to reach the next rare item's location. But the creatures are relentless, and Kale is struggling to maintain his pace. So he quickly dumps his remaining attribute points into boosting his agility. With his speed surging past theirs, he tells them to follow his lead. Together, they push deeper into the blazing depths of the Crimson Flame. Forest, a burning territory ruled entirely by a hostile fire lizard swarm. Looking back, he notices their wind-based pursuers finally calling off the chase. These fire lizards are extremely aggressive and absolutely guard their borders. Nobody dares trespass here, which makes it the perfect spot for his quest. He needs to find the rare dragon flame, so the group presses forward into the scorching heat where the legendary material is bound to be. The area is boiling, swarming with giant beasts, but right in the center. He spots the dragon flame glowing on the branch of a burning tree. Before sending his Thunderbird to swoop down and snatch the glowing prize, a system alert promises him 1,000 extra beast points for a kill. He just has to defeat the local fire lizard chief, but Kale swears at the terrible timing and decides to ignore the prompt for now. Phoenix darts forward instead, cleanly plucking the rare material from the tree and returning it safely. With all three materials secured, his quest is finally complete. Suddenly, his danger instincts flare, forcing him to spin and narrowly dodge an incoming strike. Dom Guy and his trashy crew have surrounded him, demanding that he surrender the rare items immediately. These fools belong to the Magic Association, led by a level 18 Thunder Mage named Daniel Rosardo. Kale is familiar with their terrible reputation, since they are famous for shaking down regular players for money. They are nothing but a petty street gang with too much time on their hands. Daniel boldly demands the dragon flame along with everything else. But his lackeys quickly spot the gorgeous beast girls standing nearby, causing the leader to pivot. Now he wants the rare materials and the girls. Kale is seriously growing weary of these weaklings picking fights with him. Especially since the outcome is already decided, Daniel just keeps rambling on, insisting that a weakling has no right to such beautiful companions. But without needing a single command, his loyal companions are ready to strike. He is ready to defend his honor. Millie and Phoenix show no mercy to Daniel's thugs, as they relentlessly kick, punch, and batter the annoying losers. Daniel's confidence instantly shatters as he watches his men get completely obliterated. That is when Kale calmly introduces himself and his loyal beast girls. He warns Daniel that these fighters are his tamed beasts bound to him forever. Hearing this makes Daniel realize he never stood a chance from the start, but instead of giving up, he decides to launch an attack on Kale. Daniel hurls a lightning orb directly at him, hoping for a hit, but Phoenix easily blocks the strike. Millie immediately jumps into action, driving her heavy fists right into Daniel's stomach. Soon, the girls wrap up the brief fight, rounding up Daniel and his men to tie them all up. Kale plans to use them as live bait to draw out the fire lizard boss. He orders Phoenix to hang the screaming men over the creatures' territory just low enough to catch the eye of the smaller lizards. With such an easy meal dangling right above them, the beasts swarm toward the shouting men. Meanwhile, Kale gets a good laugh watching these losers squirm around in sheer panic, though it is highly amusing to watch them fight for their lives. Kale instructs Phoenix to lower them a bit closer. They need to create a much bigger commotion to rouse the sleeping boss. Instantly, the men drop onto the stone platform, surrounded by smaller lizards that are ready to strike at any moment. Daniel desperately uses his lightning powers to fend off the creatures, and Kale hopes this noise is enough to draw out the massive fire chief. However, just like his weak personality, Daniel's abilities are incredibly pathetic, so Kale commands Phoenix to call down her own lightning to trigger a massive shockwave. The bright sparks arc all around the terrified men and the scattering beasts. Slowly, a giant silhouette rises from the blazing fire. The level 28 fire lizard chief is incredibly massive and terrifying. Phoenix immediately strikes the giant beast to pull its aggro. Kale wants to draw the monster away so they can complete their quest in peace. Meanwhile, Daniel and his useless thugs are left behind, struggling for survival, and Kale genuinely does not care if they survive or perish. Honestly, he hopes that garbage like Daniel dies right here and now, saving him the trouble of executing them later. Turning away, Kale Millie and Phoenix focus entirely on the massive fire boss. With the distraction out of the way, they can dedicate their full strength. To the fire lizard chief, this monster is incredibly aggressive, and the level gap between the beast and the girls is incredibly wide. Despite the clear handicap, Millie's heavy strikes and Phoenix's deadly lightning attacks coordinate perfectly, carving a slight wound on the massive lizard boss that they might exploit to end this, but just as things look promising, Kale has to cover his ears. The monster roars, summoning a devastating fireball. Millie is right in the line of fire for this lethal spell, but in a sudden move, Phoenix leaps in to act as a shield, taking the brunt of the heavy impact. She crashes to the ground. With a massive burning wound on her back, Kale begins to wonder if this raid is truly worth sacrificing his precious beast companions. Phoenix is definitely not. She does not look good, but she is determined to keep fighting for Kale's mission. Millie agrees, eager to take down the lizard chief just to help Kale grow stronger. Seeing the sheer determination of both girls makes Kale realize he needs a smarter strategy if he wants to win this fight. Without losing Millie or Phoenix, he quietly watches as the girls keep pressure on the lizard chief. So far, no obvious weakness has appeared. The giant lizard is massive in both size and level, meaning Millie and Phoenix can only deal minor, superficial scratches to its hide, but then Kale spots a raw, open wound on its neck. Without wasting a single second, Kale orders Millie and Phoenix to target that neck wound and tear it wider. The beast girls do not get their master's plan, but they still obey his commands. Under their combined assault, the lizard king's neck begins bleeding heavily. Millie unloads a barrage of relentless punches, while Phoenix blasts her lightning directly into the tear, ripping it wider. Despite their efforts, the girls fall back because their strikes still seem useless, but that is when Kale unleashes his trump card, copying Millie's berserk skill to drive a fist into the creature's neck. Next, he copies Phoenix's thunderstorm ability, striking the beast with devastating electrical power. He believes combining the beast girl's abilities simultaneously will let him gather enough power to destroy this formidable opponent. After what feels like an eternity of grueling combat, Kale finally delivers the killing blow to the fire lizard chief, completing the requirements to secure 1,000 beast points. This crazy quest also helps Millie and Phoenix level up their strength, but instead of celebrating the hard-won victory, the girls immediately panic over Kale. He collapses to the dirt, clutching a bloodied arm and barely holding onto consciousness. He wants to head straight home to rest for a full day before visiting the profession change shrine to unlock his new title. After recovering some of his strength, Kale activates the profession change crystal once more and receives the system alert that his quest is officially complete. He is awarded the title of Elite Beast Tamer, finally letting him advance past level 20. Checking his stat sheet, he spots two brand new skills. One skill massively boosts his hearing, while the other sharpens his vision. Meanwhile, rumors of a completed 5-star quest spread like wildfire through the shrine, with only a select few realizing Kale is the one leveling up at this ridiculous, lightning-fast pace. Millie and Phoenix have also received a massive level boost, both of them hitting level 21. Millie's attack power scales up massively, while Phoenix unlocks an incredible new combat form. Kale feels slightly discouraged, since his base stats are nowhere near those of the powerful beast girls he tamed. Still, because they are his companions, their raw power is basically his own weapon. Having completed his third profession change, he now gets to select an extra skill. His current choices are fusion, telepathy, or a perception shield. During his last promotion, he chose the malice skill to sense impending threats, so selecting his next ability requires careful deliberation. Luckily, he will not even have to choose, because the girls choose his skill. Both Millie and Phoenix are begging him to choose the fusion skill so they can merge together. He can tell these girls definitely have some hidden motives, but he has to go along with it. Kale selects the fusion ability, leaving Millie and Phoenix itching to test it out immediately. But right then, the system alerts him with a brand new quest notification. He will earn 1,500 beast points if he tames a third beast girl. This immediately makes Millie panic, thinking her master is going to dump her for all the gorgeous girls around. Luckily, Phoenix comforts the ant girl while glaring absolute daggers right at him. Naturally, he would never abandon a companion he already bonded with. Besides, right now another Pressing matter demands his attention, meaning he cannot start this quest just yet. Soon the day arrives for the Twilight High School entrance exams. Donovan addresses the crowd, explaining that representatives from elite academies are here to recruit top talent today. He stands among the hopeful applicants with Ivory right beside him. Meanwhile, his beasts remain hidden in his beast space so they do not cause a massive scene. Soon, Director Logan of Harborfield Academy is introduced, alongside Director Carlos of Silverport Academy right next to him. Avery asks which school he plans to join. While both of those are prestigious, our hero has his eyes set on the elite military academy, run by the powerful commander Reuben Yates. Reuben is the exact officer who kept an eye on him during his trial in the Phantom Zone. As the principal speaks, Avery whispers that he finally reached level 15. Next to our protagonist, that score is basically nothing, but it is still decent for a guy of his build. Avery is well aware his friend just cleared his third-class advancement quest, proving he is easily one of the most powerful students here. Dominic catches wind of this and immediately begins mocking the young tamer. There is no way he believes our hero is telling the truth about his stats, though the young man stays completely unbothered. The bully interprets this silence as a direct insult. He keeps running his mouth even while the rest of the students are listening to the principal. For now, he just shuts the loudmouth up by telling him to wait and see what happens when everyone shows their power. Meanwhile, the headmaster goes on to explain how the selection process works. The examination is split into two distinct parts. First up is the baseline stat evaluation, followed by a live combat exercise. While the initial test does not decide their ultimate grades, it will help sort everyone into appropriate brackets based on their current strength. The team battle, however, will judge how ready they are for actual combat and how effectively they cooperate under pressure. The best 3 squads will earn exclusive recruitment privileges along with valuable prizes from the academy. However, to prevent weak candidates from riding the coattails of stronger allies, the headmaster points out that they will evaluate individual performance as well. With the scoring system and expectations fully laid out, the testing officially gets underway, starting with the raw power assessment. One by one, applicants step up to the crystal to reveal their true stats. There is absolutely no room for cheating here, since the magic crystal ball only detects levels between 10 and 20. Currently, Samantha oversees the entire testing. Crystal, as the nervous students line up one by one, she is secretly worried about Kale's progress, even though his refusal of the Void Beast made her furious. Now Dominic steps up for his turn and smugly tells his instructor that she is completely wasting her time worrying about a pathetic nobody like Kale. He believes she should focus on elite students like him who actually have real value. Samantha cannot stand this arrogant brat and bluntly commands Dominic to shut his mouth and touch the stone. As it turns out, the bully has reached level 16 as a greatsword elite, which deeply concerns his instructor. The crowd assumes Dominic secured the top spot for the day, but Sherry immediately shatters his record. She clocks in at level 17 as a storm Grandmaster, instantly dethroning the smug warrior. Even Principal Donovan begins hyping up Sherry as the high school's absolute star pupil, hoping the prestigious academy representatives will take a massive interest in her future. However, Reuben's attention is fixed on the mysterious Kale, who is stepping up next. Dominic is practically drooling, to watch the boy humiliate himself. Yet Kale's calm confidence makes Samantha and the other teachers suspect that the Beast Tamer is hiding some major tricks up his sleeve. His power level might shock the school and the visiting recruiters, because the magic crystal can only scan levels between 10 and 20. Kale wonders if the device will break since he is way past 20. At this point, sadly, what should have been his shining moment quickly spirals into a total disaster when the orb begins violently shaking. Samantha has never witnessed the testing tool react like this, leaving her completely baffled as to what is triggering the overload. Suddenly, the artifact explodes into sharp fragments, raining dangerous shards over the boy, with the device completely destroyed. Nobody can verify exactly how powerful Kale has become. Seeing this, Dominic seizes his chance and starts talking trash once again, loudly claiming that the orb shattered because the weakling's energy was pathetic. Unfortunately, the situation deteriorates further when a new instructor resembling Mark arrives. The student assumed the principal would punish that corrupt teacher for attacking a student, but Samantha quietly explains that the unhinged instructor actually has an identical twin brother co-hosting this very exam. His name is Jeffrey, and he despises Kale just as much. The young protagonist is completely sick and tired of corrupt adults constantly targeting him for no good reason. He can only stare. In pure shock as Jeffrey demands, the principal revoke his right to participate in the trials. Driven to his limit, the student directly calls out the instructor's terrible behavior. Yet, even the top recruiters from the elite academies agree that a low-class beast tamer like Kale is a waste of time and school resources, demanding he be removed from the test. Surprisingly, General Rubin steps up to defend the boy. He argues that this initial level evaluation is just a minor formality, whereas the true test is the actual practical combat trial. Every applicant must prove their worth through real fighting. Therefore, the young tamer deserves his shot, since the legendary military commander is backing the student. The other examiners are too terrified to object. It is an incredible turn of events, leaving the principal with absolutely no choice but to let him play. Samantha quickly warns the young beast tamer not to waste this massive opportunity as he steps back. As Kale rejoins his group, Dominic is already calling him worthless, saying trash stays trash. But this time, instead of just taking the idiot's stupid remarks, Kale releases his sheer aura, completely overwhelming the idiot and giving him a small taste of how terrifying he truly is. With the testing crystal now shattered, the exam transitions to the next phase, where students can freely form their own teams of 3. The whole combat drill is broadcast live so directors can watch them in real time. Avery and Kale immediately pair up, as they are best friends. However, a very familiar face suddenly approaches, hoping to join their squad too. Tina from Class 3, a level 15 elite knight, is eager to team up with Kale. She is the very girl Dominic was hitting on right as Kale shattered his record in the Phantom trial. She honestly believes that partnering with Kale guarantees a win on this exam. Too bad for her, those charms completely fail, and he questions if teaming up with her is even a good idea, especially with Millie and Phoenix already round. Kale flat out rejects Tina, leaving her completely embarrassed and crushed. Avery is shocked that he would push away such a gorgeous girl. The big guy always judges people solely on their looks, which is starting to annoy Kale. Just then, Tina actually begs him to let her tag along. Her sincerity makes him realize that she probably won't pull any dirty tricks. He lets her join, growing his harem from beast girls to classmates. He turns in their final roster to Samantha, who is quite shocked to see Tina's name written there. She secretly hoped he would partner with Sherry instead, but Dominic beat him to it. Kale can see that Samantha is growing pretty worried, so he turns on his charm to soothe his gorgeous teacher. She immediately gets flustered and struggles to keep her composure. She knows she shouldn't get close to a student with so many eyes watching, yet she cannot resist giving him a quick hug. Right before he departs, suddenly a portal opens, sending all the students straight into a dangerous, forbidden wasteland. This survival test has bronze, silver, and gold territories. The higher the sector, the more points a team earns for taking down monsters. Everyone is equipped with tracking bracelets to monitor live scores and call for emergency backup. Event officially begins with floating drones tracking the action. Dominic and Sherry are the very first to hunt. Within the first 10 minutes, Sherry racks up hundreds of points alone, pushing their squads score to the absolute top. Academy directors gather around the leaderboard, completely amazed by her incredible strength. However, they soon realize that Kale's squad has not earned a single point yet, while the other groups have already taken down beasts and put up some scores. Jeffrey, Logan, and Carlos immediately mock him, but Samantha knows they are acting like complete fools. She is sure he has a plan, and that strategy triggers right as the system issues a sudden red alert. For his party, he is actually leading them deep into the silver territory, aiming to destroy high-level monsters to farm massive points right away. But as fresh rookies, Avery and Tina already feel the rookies are terrified, convinced that entering the silver zone is a reckless gamble. Kale knows Avery would probably have a literal heart attack if he discovered his best friend has actually been grinding in those dangerous zones this entire time. Meanwhile, Dominic is busy spamming trash talk to him, but he completely refuses to take the bait. Instead, Kale decides to stay focused on racking up More points right on cue, the game system drops a brand new quest for him, requiring him to slay 10 gold-level beasts in order to earn 1,000 beast points. The scales are finally tipping in his favor, but he still needs to convince Avery and Tina to tag along. When the two rookies hear that, he wants to move to the gold zone. After defeating monsters in the silver tier, they nearly wet their pants. He is tired of explaining that the higher the monster level, the more points they rake in. Suddenly, a level 18 corrosive hyena creeps out of the shadows. Finally, the real fight can begin, and he can show off his insane new skills with a single punch. He obliterates the beast, only for a massive pack to surround them. He easily drops 5 of the creatures, racking up a mountain of points in the process. Honestly, a simple beast tamer shouldn't be this strong on his own. Yet here he is, defying all logic. Instantly, Avery and Tina change their minds and resolve to leech off him as they venture deeper into the silver zone. Meanwhile, at the academy, Samantha is confronted by another instructor named Miss Lee. She insists that he is putting her student Tina in grave danger by dragging her into a deadly silver zone. Jeffrey chimes in too, warning Samantha that his reckless behavior is ruining the school's reputation. If anything goes wrong out there, the academy will take the blame. Before Samantha can defend him, the staff and directors are completely stunned. To watch his score skyrocket at an impossible speed, it looks like he is clearing monsters with a literal cheat code. Then, Samantha boots up the live feed, and everyone watches Millie and Phoenix go to work. The Beast girls are currently in their raw beast forms, looking far more terrifying and savage than ever before. Even Lois Lane is utterly mesmerized by these creatures, and she immediately reevaluates his true power. Even Jeffrey is left completely speechless, burning with intense jealousy and resentment as the young tamer continues to stack up points at a breakneck pace. The instructors watch in disbelief as his loyal beasts obliterate an entire army of thunderbeasts, moving from dead last. His rank surges all the way to 7th place, putting him hot on the heels of Dominic and Sherry. With the sheer force Millie and Phoenix are unleashing on their foes, the squad has already climbed to the 3rd spot on the leaderboard, but the grind isn't over yet, and he wants to keep scouting the silver zone in search of more high-tier silver beasts. If they run out of prey, they will head straight for the gold zone. Instead, his classmates struggle to believe that they awakened at the exact same time as everyone else because his combat power is just too absurd. They are stunned to learn that he has already completed his 3rd-class advancement. For any normal genius, making this much progress is unthinkable. This is exactly why they are more than happy to cling to him for the rest of this challenge. He is their golden ticket, meaning they won't even have to lift finger to help. Over at the academy, Samantha and the other instructors are watching it all play out, even though Samantha believes Kale shouldn't just rush into the gold leveling zone so recklessly. Hearing Jeffrey doubt him makes her blood boil. Samantha snaps at Jeffrey to stop being a major pain in the neck, especially when he can see those 2 incredibly powerful tamed beasts standing right beside the kid. Jeffrey is just acting petty and childish, which makes sense. Kale is the reason his brother ended up behind bars, and now Jeffrey is picking up right where Mark left off. He pings Dominic since the two are running a shady scheme right at the border of the silver and bronze leveling zones. Dominic and Sherry have already cleared out almost every monster. Dominic gets a text from Jeffrey warning him that Kale is now in 2nd place and heading for the gold zone. Jeffrey wants him to hurry up and push into the silver zone immediately, without even talking it over. With Sherry, Dominic charges forward to take on a level 20 long-armed demon ape. It is painfully obvious that Dominic completely overestimated his own skills since he is totally helpless against the beast. He screams out for Sherry to use her ice powers to take down the monster together, but only Sherry is actually doing any of the heavy lifting. She summons multiple ice crystals, trying to slow the beast down before it tears Dominic apart. But her efforts are useless, no matter how much magic Sherry blasts at the ape. The monster just shrugs it off and stands right back up. Dominic leaves Sherry completely exposed, making her deeply regret grouping up with such a loser. She only partnered with this obnoxious guy because he promised to give her the Storm Grandmaster weapon she desperately needs. Now she is left facing the giant ape entirely alone. The beast shatters her ice barrier and charges forward relentlessly. Sherry accepts her grim fate at this point and raises her arms to brace for impact. Suddenly, a massive ant slams directly into. The ape and Kale walks up, asking what on earth she is doing in this silver leveling zone, while Millie starts pummeling the demon ape, Phoenix. Blasts it with lightning, the level 20 monster instantly becomes a mere plaything. For Kale's powerful beast girls, Sherry is completely stunned by their raw power, especially because she had no clue Kale had become such a dominant beast. Tamer, meanwhile, Kale is actually annoyed that a group of weak, low-level students dared to challenge a level 20 monster by themselves. When he first felt the panic of students under attack, he wondered who was so foolish now that he sees Dominic is at the center of this mess. He honestly regrets coming to the rescue. Dominic stays completely quiet and glares at the fallen ape. He reaches out to touch its wound, letting the dark blood coat his fingers. Then he turns around and uses those bloody hands to grab Kale's collar. The arrogant jerk demands to know why Kale stole his kill and ruined his chance to level up. Sherry snaps at Dominic to back off, pointing out that Kale literally just saved them. But this only makes the arrogant bully angrier. He starts talking trash, only to get slapped by Sherry. Ever since the trial began, Sherry had tolerated Dominic's stupidity for long enough. Now, she was finally drawing the line. She made it plain that her only goal in joining him was to grab a level 20 weapon. Their deal was strictly business, and Dominic had no right to boss her around. Meanwhile, Kale was sick of their constant bickering, so he decided to leave them to it and head back to the gold level zone, where Avery and Tina were waiting. But this was exactly what Dominic wanted, because he had a dark trap waiting for Kale back in the gold zone. Avery and Tina were absolutely terrified without Kale around, but seeing him finally walk back instantly put their minds at ease. Just as Avery started whining about getting jumped by monsters, a level 28 Netherwolf lunged from the shadows and nearly took Kale's head clean off. Luckily, Kale had some serious plot armor and he intercepted the beast just in time. Kale quickly took down the gold tier monster, thus triggering his system quest. Since Netherwolves are known pack hunters, more of them began creeping out, slowly surrounding Kale and his crew. This was a prime chance for Millie and Phoenix to slay these Netherwolves and complete the quest requirements while raising their levels in the process. Every single beast crushed by his mighty ant and majestic thunderbird fed Kale bonus experience and attribute points throughout the chaotic battle. Their levels soared to 26 by the time his beast girls finished clearing out the remaining monsters. They hit level 27, even though Kale was thrilled with this progress. A gut feeling told him something was deeply wrong with this gold zone. To play it safe, he dumped his attribute points straight into his own strength. Curiously, the second the battle ended, Millie pounced right on Kale in her ant form. The scent of blood on his shirt was completely driving her wild, and she could not resist it. That is when Kale realized the demon ape blood was basically a homing beacon for wild beasts. Dominic had definitely set him up on purpose, hoping to get him killed. Meanwhile, Avery and Tina were just utterly paralyzed with fear. Kale's raw power was completely off the charts, and his tamed beasts fought like a highly trained, elite military unit. Since Kale had handled most of the dirty work, he decided to leave two of the Netherwolves barely clinging to life, so Avery and Tina could secure the final blows and earn easy points too. Once every last wolf was permanently dealt with, Avery checked his points bracelet and made a jaw-dropping discovery. Their squad had taken the #1 spot with more than 7,000 points. Meanwhile, back at the academy, Harborfield director Logan and Silverport director Carlos immediately started arguing with each other. After witnessing Kale's unbelievable potential, both of them were frantically trying to prove that their academy was the best fit for this Beast Tamer. Even Donovan stood there shocked that high-level directors were fighting over a student from his humble school. It felt like an absolute miracle. Meanwhile, Ruben actually had faith in Kale from the start and figured his own military academy had the strongest shot at recruiting the kid. But the moment the military officer voiced his opinion, the other two directors shut their mouths and immediately started nodding along. Donovan was so overwhelmed that he literally started crying, because Twilight High School's reputation was finally soaring, all thanks to Kale's heroics. Meanwhile, Jeffrey watched the scene with pure, boiling anger. Sends Dominic a harsh text to hurry up and farm more points. When Dominic sees that Kale has secured the #1 rank, he completely loses it and demands Sherry's help to boost his score, but she is entirely done with His toxic games bluntly telling him to go grind by himself, with time. Rapidly running out, Sherry has absolutely no energy left and has accepted the fact that she'll take second place. This leaves Dominic with zero choice, as we'll soon see. He simply hopes that Kale died out there and won't make it back from the drill. When the exam finally ends, Sherry and Dominic are the very first ones to return. Sherry and Dominic make it back first, and Donovan offers them some quick praise. He clearly favors Sherry, though, while roasting Dominic for his reckless behavior. Soon, more students filter through the portal, but there is still no sign of Kale. Dominic secretly hopes the monster blood he smeared on the boy did its job. He hopes it drew in hordes of beasts to wipe out his rival for good. But his hopes shatter when Kale, Avery, and Tina walk out in first place. They take the top spot, and the directors immediately ignore Dominic. Instead, they crowd around Kale, begging him to join their academies. He never expected Carlos and Logan to be this eager to recruit him. After all, they never supported him before. Now, their sudden passion feels suspicious. Their aggressive sales pitches make him feel like he is being scammed. The two directors are ready to throw punches until Ruben steps in to stop them. After pulling them apart, the military academy director asks for a private word with Kale. Ruben looks directly at the young man and asks him to reveal his level. It is obvious to him that Kale has already advanced to the 3rd class. The crowd erupts in disbelief. No student should be that powerful yet. Crossing level 20 is unheard of, and the other directors realize they have struck gold. If he really is in the 3rd class, he is a certified genius. An excited Miss Lee asks Samantha why she kept this a secret. Had she known, she would never have worried about Tina's safety. In truth, even Samantha is stunned by how fast the boy has grown. Only Dominic refuses to accept that his rival is actually stronger than him. He immediately throws a fit, accusing the young man of cheating. His loud whining reminds everyone that the annoying bully is still there. Seeing his desperation, Ruben grants the young Beast Tamer a chance to speak. Recognizing the opening, Kale decides to use this moment to crush him completely. He intends to silence his antagonist forever, so he pulls up his screen. The bright interface confirms it. He is a level 27 elite Beast Tamer. Watching his arrogant rival freeze up in sheer shock is incredibly satisfying. For once, the loudmouth is dead silent. Then Kale drops a heavy accusation. He reveals how the bully smeared demon blood on his clothes to cause an ambush. The trick nearly got his team killed. Dominic stammers, attempting to deny everything. But Samantha steps in, reminding him that the drone footage caught everything. His crimes are recorded, yet a smirk suddenly returns to the bully's face. This is exactly what he wanted. He acts smug, completely unfazed by her threat. He gestures to Jeffrey, who happily reveals the truth about the recording devices. The tracking drone was destroyed, leaving absolutely zero proof of his sabotage. This suspiciously perfect timing doesn't fool anyone, yet Jeffrey remains confident. His secret scheme won't be exposed just yet. Unfortunately for him, Ruben is a sharp guy who secretly installed extra security cameras. He already has footage of Dominic's run inside the portal, clearly proving the bully deliberately coated his hands in demon ape blood before grabbing onto Kale. Ruben explains that this monster's blood acts as a beacon for gold tier beasts, meaning Dominic knew exactly what he was doing. The military general makes it absolutely clear that if Dominic were one of his own men, his punishment would be far worse than death. The academy principal explodes with rage, as well furious that Dominic's cheap stunt has completely ruined their reputation. He threatens to expel the bully right then and there until Kale steps in. Despite the guy being an absolute nightmare, Kale still believes that the thug isn't the true mastermind here. Instead, he confronts Jeffrey, who has far more motive and is clearly seeking revenge for his brother. The moment everyone turns to demand answers, Jeffrey panic shifts the blame and instantly throws Dominic under the bus, calling him a despicable partner. Dominic is utterly stunned by the betrayal and snaps, confronting his co-conspirator. Right there, the student confesses that he only wanted to kill the demon ape, but then Jeffrey sent him messages instructing him to use the blood. Jeffrey denies everything and even has the audacity to slam the kid down. Causing his phone to slip out of his pocket, Samantha snatches the phone and immediately finds the active chat notifications from Jeffrey. This is the second time a snake like him has tried to kill our hero Kale, and Donovan is completely done showing mercy. He instantly Pins the vile Jeffrey flat against the hard ground. Ruben immediately instructs Donovan to hand him over to the military, where he'll face real justice. Even though Jeffrey is finally exposed as the mastermind, Dominic's career is completely destroyed as well. Not a single academy director wants to recruit the disgraced bully, leaving him utterly humiliated. Meanwhile, Kale has hit the jackpot, flooded with offers from all 3 top academies. Ruben tells the elite Beast Tamer to join the military whenever he pleases. The other directors are practically begging Kale to join them. Principal Donovan sees the massive spotlight on his student and decides to fully back him. To boost Twilight High's prestige, soon a grand awards ceremony is held, where the top 3 teams are honored for their achievements. Thanks to his stellar performance, Kale is showered with incredible rewards by the school. Not only does he secure a luxury villa right in the city center, but he also gets a rare skill book and an attribute-boosting necklace that grants a 20% buff. Kale politely hides his true thoughts and thanks the principal for the generous gifts. In reality, though, the academy is deeply indebted to him. Samantha soon arrives to escort our rising star to his brand new luxury mansion. Along the way, they debate which academy he should choose. Samantha suggests that Harborfield and Silverport are great if he wants maximum support. However, the military academy is ideal if he wants to test his limits. Plus, with his broken cheat system, he can conquer any challenge. Since they provide everything he needs, he decides to choose the military academy. Samantha is surprised by how fast Kale makes his final decision, reminding him to look her up if he needs more help, but Kale just feels like she is pushing herself onto him, and with Millie and Phoenix around, there is only so much a teenage guy can take. As soon as Kale starts having dirty thoughts about Samantha, the car slams on the brakes, sending him face first into her lap. From down there, the view of her chest is absolutely amazing, and he is in no rush to get up. He asks Samantha if she knows where to find decent fire elemental monsters so he can hunt down a 3rd beast, as luck would have. Samantha knows about a blazing bird living in the flame forest. Samantha believes that since Kale is so close to his 4th profession change, he should head to the woods right now and level up quickly to get strong. Then he can catch that blazing bird and claim a new pet. Samantha looks down at him, hoping he enjoyed his view. While he could, because they are detouring straight to the flame forest instead of his villa. As the name suggests, this forest is constantly burning and packed with wild monsters. Samantha tagged along to support him and watch him grow stronger. Right then, the duo is suddenly ambushed by a pack of blazing lions charging right at them. Samantha uses ice magic to freeze the beasts, trapping them in crystal with barely any life left. This allows Kale and his summons to rush in and deliver the fatal blow to the lions, racking up massive experience points. Each kill takes less than a second, and Kale reaches level 30 in no time. He hits the upper cap again and needs to complete another class transition, Quest 2. Advance. With that out of the way, they begin hunting for the blazing bird. Finding the fiery target is a breeze, since it is resting on a fire tree close to the edge of the woods. Kale unfolds his lightning wings, showing them to Samantha for the first time, and begins showing off. He dives straight toward the bird and commands Millie to pin it down. The fiery bird crashes to the dirt after taking a massive strike from Millie. Kale seizes the moment and immediately begins forming a contract with the beast. The process is done, and Kale now lands a level 35 beast for himself, but its stats are still way too low. He has no choice but to use his cheat skill to transform the blazing bird into a gorgeous woman who calls him master. Samantha realizes that Kale does not need her help anymore, so she departs. She has urgent matters to handle outside of the city, and they probably won't cross paths again for a very long time. She advises her student to forge his own path. Once she leaves, Kale activates his special evolution skill on the blazing bird. Once triggered, the creature transforms into another beautiful girl with a stunning figure. Kale names his new monster companion Nena. Just like the rest of them, she is incredibly playful and deeply obsessed with him. Now that he has his 3rd beast, he heads straight to the class shrine to start his next quest. Yet another 5-star quest, because of course that's all Kale ever gets. He's grown completely numb to all the attention. At this point, he doesn't care if anyone knows he's the one who landed this 5-star quest. In fact, Kale boldly strolls right through the shrine with his massive harem of beast girls on full display. His next class promotion quest is set in the Bitter Water Marsh, where he must hunt down 50 lizard turtles and reverse the timeline. This murky swamp is a bizarre region where the dark waters are crawling with all kinds of vicious creatures. The second Kale approaches the shore. A swarm of water snakes lunges out at him. He calmly tells Nat to handle the pests while he kicks back and eats a snack. Honestly, it's fun to watch the serpents burn without lifting a single finger. Just then, 9 points out the exact spot where the target lizard turtles are nesting. They look pretty ordinary aside from the tiny horns on their heads, but since Kale has a massive turtle phobia, he commands Millie and Phoenix to clear the battlefield. The two lethal beauties leap right into action, with Millie using her bare fists to crush the shells, while Phoenix calls down some devastating lightning. Meanwhile, Kale is having an absolute blast, racking up experience points and completing his objectives while chilling comfortably on the sidelines. He doesn't need to do any heavy lifting, leaving him free to admire his curvy beast girls one by one, but the easy ride ends when a massive lizard turtle king spawns, furious that its entire family was just wiped off the map. This giant boss looks absolutely pissed, and it might actually give him some real trouble. Kale is shocked by the pure size and level of this monstrous beast. Luckily, with his system active, there is still plenty of time to take down the threat, and then he figures a coordinated strike from his trio of beast girls will be more than enough to crush this absolute headache of a boss. He commands Millie to use her raw power to pin down the giant beast, while Phoenix summons her lightning to roast the giant reptile. Next, Nina leaps in with a devastating finishing blow, unleashing roaring flames to turn the monster into scorched meat. Yet, despite that brutal combination, he is shocked to see the giant boss is still breathing, but only barely. The wounded beast slips back into the swamp, destined to die from its severe injuries. But then, a wild twist happens. For the very first time, he watches a different predator ambush his prey and steal his hard-earned points. He is absolutely furious when he realizes a giant Blackwater Python King just stole his kill. To make up for this stolen kill, the system offers a new quest to slay the serpent for 2,000 bonus beast points. Even though this detour is getting highly irritating, he decides to seize the moment and test out his brand new fusion ability. As soon as he activates it, Millie, Phoenix, and Nena obey his command and merge directly into his body. This unexpected fusion creates a custom beast armor set, making him look like some budget Power Ranger. With this gear equipped, his combat stats skyrocket, giving him the ultimate boost in confidence to easily crush the Python King. His lovely girls cheer him on as he faces down the massive boss alongside a swarm of regular pythons. After roasting those annoying small fries with a burst of Phoenix fire, he turns toward the primary target is the Python King. Every strike fuses the abilities of his beast girls. Fusing power from Millie, Phoenix, and Nena, Kale triggers a berserk skill and follows up with a devastating Phoenix flame, tearing right through the massive python. He thinks the battle is over, but the Python King is far from done. This boss is not just relentless, it is a highly dangerous mutated beast. The entire quest descends into chaos, and the shrine receptionist receives an emergency alert. She learns that a terrifying mutated monster has hijacked one of their active quests. This new threat is the legendary black tortoise, sporting the body of a massive lizard turtle. It features a Blackwater python tail, and this is Kale's first time facing one. He has never faced such a powerful, rare creature. Nina thinks the black tortoise standing right before them is nothing but a mimic. It likely formed when the lizard turtle and the python somehow merged. Kale cannot understand how that is possible, but he has zero time to pause and think. The vicious monster rams straight into him, nearly knocking the Beast Tamer clean out of his bizarre battle suit. He was really hoping to analyze the black tortoise slowly, but the monster's sudden ambush completely ruins his plans. Now he just wants to destroy the rare beast and finally finish this draining quest once and for all. Kale shouts some incredibly basic move names as he strikes, combining the skills of all three of his beast girls. Fortunately, this blow packs enough power to obliterate the boss in a single strike. This nightmare quest finally comes to a close, rewarding him with a powerful black tortoise shield for his efforts. At last, he can head back to the shrine and forget this awful day. But as the fusion ability expires, he nearly collapses from the sudden backlash. The extreme exhaustion hits hard. Merging powers takes a heavy physical toll, making speedy recovery nearly impossible. His worried beast girls support their exhausted master as he struggles to endure a massive splitting headache. Afterward, he heads back to the job advancement shrine to officially confirm that he has indeed finished the trial. He earns the Beast Taming General title along with two incredibly overpowered skills. The first one lets him turn completely invisible for 2 minutes, while the second ability lets him teleport up to 10 meters. He is also offered a bonus skill, choosing the Reception Shield for his final selection. This powerful defense will help him mask his own presence and his beast's energy from hostile foes. The skill is successfully learned, leaving him fully prepared to attend the prestigious Military Academy. Having hit level 30, he can easily continue raising his power and attributes. He also possesses a massive stash of rare gear that dramatically boosts his overall strength. There is zero doubt that inside the prestigious academy, Kale is bound to be a star, but the Beast Tamer's cool aura completely evaporates when Avery comes waddling over with his massive frame. With Tina right behind him, the duo realize that sticking close to Kale is a guaranteed shortcut to ultimate success. Now they want to latch onto his incredible strength and enroll in the academy too. Together, they step through a portal, arriving at the school dorms. By nightfall, Kale realizes he is doomed to endure Avery's thunderous snoring for the foreseeable future. Fortunately, 3 caring girls look after him, using their beast energy to create a shield. This soundproof barrier keeps Kale quiet, while Avery remains fast asleep. Avery has absolutely no clue that Kale is busy managing 3 different girls. Soon, they start bickering over who gets to spend the night beside him. It is honestly ridiculous watching these grown adults act like bickering toddlers. Before the noise wakes Avery up, Kale pulls all 3 in for a hug. He offers a compromise, letting them cuddle for 3 hours each to keep everyone happy. With that settled, the next morning Kale, Avery, and Tina head out toward the legendary meteorite forest, which they absolutely must cross in order to reach the elite military academy. It is a dark, creepy place meant as a basic entrance exam. With an overpowered guy like Kale along, the others should have an easy run. But the trio has no clue that hidden eyes are tracking their every step. Several figures lurk in the shadows. This training ground near the academy is crawling with elite instructors and special agents who monitor the fresh students as they struggle forward. But as the group presses deeper, Kale immediately senses a threat approaching, thanks to his special skills. His malice detection goes off before anything terrible can happen. Kale yanks his friends backward, saving them from the fiery claws of a level 40 flame panther. The massive beast blocks their path, glaring down at the startled group who are locked in fight or flight mode. As Kale prepares to handle the monster entirely alone, Tina quickly speaks up and, hearing rumors about a surprise entrance exam for incoming academy students, she prayed the rumors were fake, but with this burning predator in front of them, reality hits hard. Rather than waiting around like helpless bait, Kale leaps into action, launching a direct attack to slay the beast. But as he closes in, the agile monster suddenly pivots, leaping high into the air to target Tina and Avery instead. Kale is forced to trigger his teleportation skill, flashing to their side before they get shredded to pieces. He quickly orders Millie to activate her superhuman strength skill to crush the fiery beast once and for all. Kale finds this entire entrance exam to be an absolute joke. With one blow, the academy's big challenge is over. Avery and Tina are incredibly relieved. They are riding his coattails to pass, knowing they would otherwise be dead. But their brief moment of relief is cut short when his malice detection triggers again, warning him of multiple hostile targets nearby. Realizing the threat is still active, Kale pushes Avery out of the way of a massive, deadly needle aimed right at him. Turning to his shaken friends, Kale warns them to stay alert. There is definitely more to this exam than a simple beast. Alarmingly, even his malice skill is struggling to lock onto the attacker, which means whoever is targeting them is a master at concealing their presence and hiding in the deep shadows. Up in the trees, the watching academy instructor is stunned by Kale's incredible reflexes and sharp intuition. Even though he can tell the boy is some overpowered protagonist, the arrogant agent remains confident and prepares to rain down even more of his deadly needles onto the group. He leaps into the air, throwing a volley of sharp needles straight at Kale and his crew. Before anyone gets hurt, Kale raises his shield to block the oncoming attack. But keeping his friends safe under this pressure is becoming a real challenge. As the needles keep raining down on them, Kale starts getting pretty annoyed. He tells Avery and Tina to distract the shooter while he prepares to flank them. While the attacker curses at the stubborn shield blocking his strikes, he loses focus entirely. He completely fails to notice Kale slipping up right behind him, within seconds. Kale corners the guy, who is actually preparing to unleash heavy fire on kids. Stunned by the boy appearing out of nowhere, the shooter panics. He still has the nerve to swing, but Kale easily catches his weak punch and slams him face first into the dirt when the attacker crashes onto the forest floor. Blood spills from his mouth. Kale immediately threatens him, demanding some quick answers. If he wants to live, he better start talking, now that he is pinned. This tough guy turns pathetic, begging for mercy and whining for his life. He insists that they are actually on the same side and there is no need for violence. That is when Kale learns his attacker is a third-year student from the military academy named Eric Lopez. Seeing the seniors panic, Kale finally lets him up so he can explain himself properly. Eric quickly points out he had no intention of killing anyone. Those weapons were just paralysis needles designed to knock the rookies out. It turns out Eric is just participating in a brutal academy tradition, where seniors are tasked with testing the fresh recruits. They hunt them down like prey, but there is a massive catch to it. Every new cadet starts with 100 points if a senior captures them. They steal 80 points right from the rookie's pocket. These points are the main currency used inside the academy walls. A single point is worth roughly 1,000 dragon coins in the real world. Eric also reveals that any rookie who avoids capture gets rewarded a massive bonus of 300 extra points, but if they are caught within 100 meters of the forest gates, they get instantly expelled. Hearing this makes Avery lose his mind, complaining about how unfair it is for seniors to bully them. But then Eric throws in a twist. The rookies can fight back. If they hunt down a senior and collect their ID tag, they will walk away with an insane 500 points. That is when the gears in Kale's head start turning. He can turn this to his advantage. Instead of just letting Eric walk away, Kale and his team decide to surround him. Kale points out that Eric must have a way to contact other seniors wandering around this forest. If he helps the rookies hunt them down, he can earn a sweet cut of the points, but if he refuses, Kale will strip him of his tag and leave him with absolutely nothing. Eric is absolutely petrified, but then Kale offers a compromise. He only needs him to act as bait to lure out the targets. He will not have to raise a hand against his classmates. Secured by the promise of staying out of the action, Eric hands over his identification tag. Immediately, he begins messaging his friends to draw them in. Leading them straight to Kale, Eric quickly sends a text to one of his buddies, Steven Sterling, who arrives on the scene looking for easy targets. Scanning the area, Steven spots Avery and Tina and immediately tries to rob them of their points, but the moment Steven steps forward, Kale ambushes him from behind, slamming him into a ditch. With the senior down, Kale reviews his handiwork while Eric hypes up his insane strength. Hearing this praise, Steven realizes Eric completely set him up, threatening to take his scholarship points. With Steven pinned down, Eric brings out a paralysis needle to use on the furious senior to put him to sleep, but the drug takes a while to kick in since Steven has a body-strengthening buff active. For their next victims, Eric promises to double the dosage. What comes next is a masterclass in betrayal as Eric continues luring unsuspecting seniors straight into the trap, getting them drugged and stripped of their ID tags. By now, Eric is thoroughly enjoying helping Kale, especially since he gets a solid cut of the points, and seeing his own point balance skyrocket feels amazing. Balance rise makes him smile. Meanwhile, the senior captain hears rumors that a single new student has managed to overpower several of their seniors. Naturally, he grows highly suspicious, just as Eric lures out his next target and prepares for another easy payout. The senior suddenly freezes mid-stride. The senior captain has broadcasted a warning about strange activity in this sector of the woods. Fearing the gig is up, Eric starts panicking, because the very senior he lured is starting to question the whole setup. The guy wants to retreat and regroup with their leader, but then Kale steps in before the senior can react. Kale plants a heavy kick, directly to his head, knocking him cold. Kale asks if Eric slipped up, but the nervous boy explains that the captain just declared a code red. Eric quickly explains that this code, Red Emergency Protocol essentially, warns all upperclassmen about a high-threat freshman hunting them down. Under these rules, the seniors can group up and raid the target's location. Eric knows Kale is a beast, but he highly doubts the kid can survive a massive wave of angry seniors coming at him together. Unbothered, Kale is already cooking up a counter strategy. He instructs the group to stay hidden while he scouts the path ahead. Eric nods, promising to keep a low profile as Kale vanishes into the dense woods. Elsewhere in the forest, Viven is struggling through her own entrance exam, fleeing for her life from a relentless squad of seniors, but then one of them shoots a stun weapon at Viven, sending the poor girl crashing hard onto the dirt. Even though she is completely cornered, Viven prepares to fight back in a desperate attempt to show some courage, but things look incredibly grim. As they close in, she realizes she is totally doomed. Out of nowhere, a massive blast rips through the area, throwing everyone into chaos. And Kale bursts through the smoke, carrying Viven. He quickly notices that the girl is knocked cold and is not responding at all. At the same time, the seniors gasp, stunned that a freshman could shrug off their attack, realizing they have no easy escape from this monster. First, Kale decides to use his lightning powers to crush the seniors right there. His cover is bound to blow anyway, and he is done playing low-key. He wants to seize the initiative now and strike back first. Retreating to his hidden camp with Vivian, Avery has a hard time believing his eyes. He cannot believe his buddy just managed to charm yet another gorgeous girl. Once Vivian finally opens her eyes, she is completely lost. She barely recalls her rescue, only remembering that Kale dragged her away from those older students. She wants to know how he defeated them, so he reveals his 4th class rank. This shocking news leaves Avery, Tina, and Eric completely blown away. To make things crazier, Kale dumps out a massive pile of stolen ID cards he has collected, extending an invitation for her to join their team. All along, Vivian was using her tracking skills purely to avoid running into upperclassmen. Now Kale wants her to actively hunt them down. It is a wild proposition, but she eagerly jumps at the chance. With their squad officially growing, Kale quickly designs a tactical plan for everyone. He intends to use Vivian's sharp tracking talent to hunt down the upperclassmen and ambush them. Meanwhile, Eric is forced to feed them insider intel on his former classmates. Deep in another part of the woods, the senior captain learns that one of his missing students has been found. Arriving at the scene with his squad, the leader finds Steven lying on the ground, completely knocked out. He is told that Steven was poisoned before someone blasted him with lightning. As soon as the victim wakes up, he immediately snitches, telling the boss that Eric is working with the freshmen to systematically target the older students. The rest of the gang wants blood right away, but the captain is playing a smarter game. He wants to lure the freshmen into a deadly trap. He decides to wait, gathering all the remaining upperclassmen to launch a massive counterstrike. Meanwhile, the military academy director, Ruben, receives some unsettling news from George, one of the instructors, about the ongoing outdoor exam. Ruben assumes that the seniors are simply bullying the defenseless freshmen, but he is stunned to discover that the upperclassmen are the ones being hunted down. Initially, the director is pleased to see the new kids fighting back, but his amusement quickly turns into deep concern once he hears the details. Over 20 seniors have been eliminated, and an entire squad is completely missing. George identifies the freshman mastermind behind this absolute chaos as Kale, the crazy kid whom Ruben personally brought in. By now, the young monster has racked up a fortune, and nothing seems to slow him down. Still, Ruben is not panicked. He knows there is another top-tier genius lurking among the seniors, and he wants these 2 elite prodigies to clash. This is the setup for an epic confrontation. Out in the woods, Kale and his crew keep sweeping through the seniors, racking up massive points. Eric is finally feeling glad that he decided to leech off of Kale. But their easy run comes to a sudden halt when an announcement flashes to everyone. To keep the school exam balanced, a massive 10,000-point bounty is put on the head of the mysterious freshman hunting the older students. Panic-stricken, Eric warns Kale that his cover is officially blown, and now everyone knows his name now. Still, Kale isn't worried since the remaining upperclassmen still have no clue where he is hiding. Instead of Backing down, Kale pivots. He decides to use Vivian's handy tracking ability to map out the seniors waiting to ambush them in a nearby clearing. She triggers her skill and detects over 50 enemies waiting to pounce on their group. This makes Kale wonder if any of these targets are the exact same seniors he took down earlier, but Vivian insists that the energy of those 50 enemies is completely different from the previous group. This key detail tells Kale that once a student's ID card is snatched away, they are completely disqualified from the hunt. He wonders if this survival game might instantly end if he manages to steal the ID card belonging to the senior's main boss, even though Eric has never heard of such a feat in the Academy's entire history. The confident look on Kale's face makes him believe it is actually possible. Kale decides he might as well act like an arrogant, entitled brat and ruin the experience for everyone by hunting down every single senior out here. As the exercise continues, an upperclassman spots an isolated and oblivious rookie wandering the woods. The hunter leaps at the terrified student, demanding his immediate surrender. Before things can escalate, Kale intervenes, flattening the aggressor and rescuing the helpless underclassman. The kid is deeply rattled and frantically demands to know what is happening. Kale explains the situation and decides to recruit him to his squad as well. He then retrieves the communicator. The fallen senior used to speak with their leader. He wastes no time mocking the captain and his crew for trying so hard. One of the upperclassmen on the line tries to bait him into the open, promising to drop the whole issue if Kale surrenders the stolen ID cards. Naturally, he isn't foolish enough to buy such an obvious lie. He warns their boss that they will face off very soon. With that warning, he smashes the device. Nearby, a scout informs the captain that they have traced Kale's coordinates and are ready to strike, but the leader chooses a different route, posting Kale's details directly onto the Academy forum, while Kale gathers the eye card of the opponent he just flattened. Avery and company are shocked to see the online boards exploding with threads about him. Instead of feeling anxious, Avery and Tina praise Kale for already gaining such massive popularity. Before classes have even begun, this sudden fame only feeds Kale's growing ego, leaving him incredibly determined to track down and collect every remaining eye card. Meanwhile, back in his office, Ruben has been watching everything and feels thoroughly impressed by the sheer talent of these new students. Still, it looks like Kale is boxed in by upperclassmen, and the rival leader, an elite student named Tamos, has successfully locked onto his coordinates. A direct clash between Kale and Tamos is now completely inevitable, playing right into Ruben's hands. Out in the woods, Kale once again uses Vivian's tracking magic to map the exact locations of nearby threats. He has laid an absolute trap for these arrogant seniors, and he is completely confident that victory belongs to him alone as they wait for the trap. As we look through the trees, Kale and his team watch the seniors approaching the area. This time, our protagonist stays safely hidden. Instead, it is Eric who uses a special illusion item to disguise the freshman, Terrence, making him look exactly like Kale. Because of this, the seniors believe they are cornering Avery, Tina, and their target. But the moment the overconfident upperclassmen charge in to slaughter their prey, Phoenix and Millie unleash their devastating magic to halt them. Their tracks showing zero mercy to these arrogant humans. Phoenix uses fierce lightning to fry the seniors. Meanwhile, Millie loots their identification cards to deliver to Kale. Meanwhile, the real Kale has quietly activated his legendary stealth skill, and he drops down on Teos and his lackey, prepared to crush them, but in a shocking twist, Teos actually detects his presence instantly. The senior immediately activates his own frost magic to repel the mysterious freshman terrorizing the upperclassmen. Our protagonist is stunned. For the first time, a regular student successfully countered his assassination attempt. Teos proudly reveals he is no average student, holding a rare 5th class status himself. He sneeringly commands Kale to surrender because his scheme has completely failed. At first, Kale gets defensive, refusing to believe that this is the end, but then Teos gestures toward his comrades who have been entirely trapped within giant ice crystals. Now, only Kale is standing, and the senior offers him a brutal ultimatum. He can desert his allies and flee like a pathetic coward, or he can stay and battle Teos head-on. Right then, the game system alerts Kale that defeating this opponent will grant him an incredible bounty, and with a massive boost like that on the line, there is no backing down. As soon As their duel begins, an observer starts a livestream to give the school a front row seat to the unfolding chaos, quickly charging his frost magic, Teos. Prepares to teach the arrogant freshman a painful lesson. Even our protagonist is startled by how swiftly and powerfully the senior moves during the clash. As they exchange heavy blows, Kale receives a system warning notifying him that his speed stats have been debuffed. He quickly realizes the frozen crystals summoned by Teos are draining his mobility. The smug senior boasts that his magic does more than just freeze physical movement. His unique crowd control debuff also locks down and freezes a target's active abilities. When our hero inspects his own status screen, he discovers that a key skill is completely locked. He then glances down, realizing the creeping frost has fully immobilized his legs. Even the spectating upperclassmen begin to worry that their leader is taking this demonstration way too far, yet Teos remains convinced that he must make an example of these cocky freshmen, or the older students will lose all authority. Still, he offers a compromise. He will release Kale if he begs and vows to clean the academy. It truly seems like game over for our protagonist. Meanwhile, watching from Ruben's office, even George believes the freshman must surrender to the senior, but Ruben reveals a secret. Not only is our hero a fourth-class genius, but he possesses an incredibly rare fire-type summon, capable of melting Teos' ice. Deep in the dark woods, the trap shatters. Unleashing his intense fire magic, Kale throws a heavy punch, but the senior dodges the blow. Teos is utterly stunned to watch the freshman break out and summon a colossal, blazing inferno, relying on his immense willpower. Activating the Phoenix Flame skill he copied, Kale launches blazing fireballs at Teos. The powerful senior quickly summons a massive ice wall to block the strike. But the barrier instantly shatters. Refusing to yield, Teos charges directly forward. He throws a desperate punch, but like everyone else, he cannot land a hit. His target easily dodges. Fed up with this boring game of tag, Kale reacts. He summons a devastating fire and punches his opponent squarely in the jaw. The senior crashes to the ground, bleeding and gasping. Kale towers over Teos, declaring himself the undisputed winner. With Teos writhing on the dirt like a pathetic loser, Kale turns his gaze toward the other seniors, asking if they want a piece of this action too. After witnessing Kale's monstrous power, the upperclassmen instantly crown him winner of the hunt, letting him keep every single ID card. Then, Kale tosses Teos' battered body toward his buddies so they can wallow in their shared shame. At last, the brutal, never-ending entrance exam is finally over, meaning our protagonist can catch his breath. Meanwhile, back in his office, George, an academy instructor, is absolutely losing his mind over Kale's ridiculous power levels. He figures the kid must have top-tier beasts to summon this kind of overwhelming force on demand. He's especially stunned that the legendary Phoenix is part of Kale's active deck. It's clear Ruben made the right call by scouting the boy so early. Ruben instructs George to start keeping a close eye on Kale for a unique future role. The next morning, Kale and his crew show up at the military academy gates to register. But Millie and Phoenix are already clinging to him again, pressing their massive assets right against his arms, leaving Nat completely jealous. See, Kale recently unlocked a passive skill that lets his beast girls manifest in human form while remaining totally invisible and silent to outsiders. He snagged this handy ability right after crushing Teos in the woods. He actually had a choice between two skills, one that granted passive experience points every single day, and this one, which summons his monster girls. Naturally, he went with the option that offered the best perks. Once Eric helps wrap up his official academy sign-up, the duo prepare to say their goodbyes, but as Kale turns to go, a crowd begins forming. Word of his crazy stunt has clearly spread everywhere. Now every hot-headed student wants to challenge him before a brawl breaks out. Eric urges him to retreat to his dorm and lay low. Tagged by Avery and Terrence, he makes a break for his quarters, silently wondering what kind of roommate they are getting. Once they step inside, they introduce themselves to the new guy, Carter Harris. But the moment Carter puts two and two together and realizes he is bunking with the famous Kale, he completely loses it. He points out that Kale is trending all over the student forums. That news only makes our hero uneasy, knowing this hype will attract some seriously annoying trouble. When night falls, he finds sleep impossible, thanks to Avery snoring like a chainsaw. To make things even wilder, His beast girls decide this is the perfect time to manifest. Millie pouts, claiming she has missed him, even though they share a soul bond. Then Phoenix wraps her arms around him, complaining her magical core is acting up after being separated for so long. Not to be outdone, Na slides onto his lap, whispering that she is clearly the superior waifu choice here. He laughs, telling them to stop bickering since he loves having all of them cuddle up and they happily spend the night together. After that, Kale has no idea which girl to focus on, plus he can't even talk to them properly because of Avery's loud snoring. That's when the Beast girls decide to use their powers just like last time, creating a barrier that will block out every single sound. Once the barrier is up, they start enjoying their time with Kale while his chubby friend snores in the corner. The next day, Eric asks Kale if he is getting used to his new life at the military academy. Eric goes on to explain that unlike other academies, this military school is run directly by the top military generals and commanders. On top of that, the academy places a heavy focus on teamwork, meaning the students here are divided into teams of 4. These teams then take part in all of the academy's activities, from classes to exams and test battles. Even a team captain can secure some insane rewards if your squad performs exceptionally well, since having a team is super important. Eric wants Kale to register his squad as soon as possible. However, Vivian raises doubts about her role on the team. As a weak tracker, she feels like she is only going to drag everyone down with her pathetic skill. But Kale reassures Vivian that her skills have been incredibly useful so far, and he wants her to join his squad. Hearing this, Vivian stops feeling sorry for herself and happily accepts Kale's invitation. Eric then reveals that the upcoming freshman assembly is coming up fast, and during this event, teams will face each other for the first time. This is why it is crucial for Kale to register his team without any delay. First, Kale needs a name for his team, and he chooses the name Night Watch. Since everyone is happy with the name, Kale and his friends get ready for the battle ahead. Their next challenge is already here, and everyone is looking to Kale as their leader. Together, they march toward the registration area. When Kale and his squad finally arrive at the registration with his friends, the hall is already packed, forcing them into a massive line. That is when an academy instructor named George Moore introduces himself to Kale. George delivers an urgent message. The director, Ruben, wants a private meeting. Kale secretly hopes that the director is finally about to pay out his reward for completing that dangerous hunt. As they make their way to Ruben, George admits how incredibly impressed he is by Kale's rapid growth. He then discreetly uses his special glasses to scan exactly what skills Kale is using, but his scanner flashes a red alert because the system cannot find any skills on Kale. George has never seen anything like this before. Struggling to truly understand what is wrong with Kale, the teacher starts to panic, becoming completely overwhelmed with anxiety. In his desperation, George starts demanding to see Kale's beasts. Luckily, Ruben interrupts their conversation and orders Kale to enter his office right away. Just as expected, Ruben wants to discuss the massive payout for collecting over 80 ID cards. Initially, Kale gets super excited, thinking he is about to be absolutely filthy rich. But then Ruben admits that the elite military academy actually does not have the funds to pay him the entire sum. That is the last thing Kale wants. Ruben apologizes, offering to arrange whatever Kale needs during his stay at school. On top of that, he is even willing to track down a powerful beast for him once he reaches the 5th class. Right now, Ruben just wants to show his absolute sincerity. He even offers Kale free meals and housing at school. Plus, he promises to make sure that all of Kale's summoned companions are well fed. This actually makes Kale feel a bit better because all of his beast girls have massive appetites, especially Millie. With that issue sorted out, Kale is finally free to go join up with his new classmates. As he walks out, Ruben apologizes again and promises to make it up to him. Once Kale leaves, George steps into the office with a rather strange request. He wants to sign up as the kid's homeroom teacher. It has been years since George actually taught anyone, so Ruben doubts if he is really the right fit. But George insists he only wants to ensure the boy gets the best guidance. In reality, though, George just wants to figure out the secret behind Kale's insane power. Ruben approves the request, meaning Kale now has to deal with more annoying prying eyes. When Kale heads back to his friends, Avery shows him the official squad badge they got after registering as an active team. They also get added to the class group chat, which is already blowing up. But the moment Kale introduces himself, the entire chat completely loses its mind. Half of them cannot believe he is a Beast Tamer, while the girls immediately start shamelessly flirting with him. Then George jumps into the chat and orders the entire class to gather at the square for a quick meeting. They need to elect a class president, and he actually encourages them to beat each other up if anyone is late. Kale cannot believe this clown is going to be his homeroom teacher. Once the students assemble, George barks orders for everyone to line up in their squads within 5 seconds. Naturally, the students scramble into position. Once they are all lined up, George announces that the new class president will be reporting directly to him. The position will be decided through a basic test of strength. Avery instantly thinks Kale is the perfect fit, but the young summoner himself honestly could not care less. He has zero interest in the spotlight. Blade George starts a countdown, warning that if no one is chosen before the timer hits 0, the whole class gets 500 frog jumps. To sweeten the deal, the president gets 100 points every month, which instantly makes the role highly attractive to almost every student there. As soon as the match starts, however, the other squads instantly band together against Kale. They know they must eliminate the strongest threat first, or he will walk away with an incredibly easy victory. All of them get fired up, unleashing a barrage of elemental spells right at him. They hope to overwhelm him with sheer numbers, but these background characters have no idea they are up against a main character with literal plot armor. Kale simply raises his shield, completely untouched by their flashy offensive. The crowd panics as Kale decides it is finally his turn to show off. Calling upon his lightning, Kale strikes multiple students across a wide area. They scatter like terrified pigs as Kale fries them with shocking ease. Within just a few seconds, all the other teams are left completely defeated. Leaving only Kale and his underdog squad standing, George declares them the official winners, and naturally Kale is elected class president, but George warns him that the new position won't be easy, especially with the freshman assembly right around the corner. But Kale is highly confident that he will lead his class to victory. George then surveys the destruction left behind on school grounds. He demands the boy pay for the repairs, but Kale does not even care. He casually tells George to deduct points, since he has a massive stack of those points just sitting around. As Kale and his friends walk away, George wonders how this cocky fighter will actually perform during the team battles. Meanwhile, Kale heads back to the dorms with his crew, getting bombarded with annoying messages from his beast girls. They all want to come out and check out the campus too, since nobody else can detect them. Kale lets them enjoy the fresh air, but instead of looking around, they immediately cling to him instead. While he enjoys his stunning harem, his danger sense suddenly alerts him to trouble. In the vicinity, scanning the area, Kale spots another group of clowns trying to act tough. These guys are from Class 3, looking to intimidate. Their self-proclaimed leader is a guy named Simon, who has a massive ego. Apparently, he is from the Goodwin family, but that means 0 to Kale. He does not care at all. Simon is getting furious because absolutely nobody recognizes him. His pride is hurt, so he warns Kale that Class 3 will dominate the tournament. The arrogant punk then boasts that he is a specialized beast trainer. In this profession, the trainer lives with a powerful beast companion for a long time, making them stronger than ordinary beast tamers. But despite hearing this, Kale is certain this random guy is no match for him. He genuinely wonders why this annoying pest thinks he is somehow superior. Tempers flare on both sides, including Avery and the beast girls. They are ready to defend Kale, but it is unnecessary. Kale accepts the challenge to see who truly comes out on top. The loser will be forced to drop to their knees and apologize. But Kale is not done testing out this Goodwin family loser. He baits Simon into attacking him so he can test how strong the idiot really is. The trick works and the hothead lunges forward. Fortunately, George and Ruben are close by. Sensing the sudden surge of power, they step in to stop Simon. Ruben tells Kale to stand down and deactivate his skill, which he had activated without Simon even noticing. George quickly disperses the crowd and tells everyone to head back to their classes. Kale can still sense the deep malice coming from